Well, hot damn greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel, brought to you in part by our friends at Mint Mobile. I am, of course, host John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies and movie news, TV and streaming, and all sorts of good stuff. And congratulations to fans everywhere of the Dallas Cowboys. A broken clock is right twice a day. Congratulations. I look forward to watching them get smashed next weekend. Anyway, joining me in the house here today, we got Robert Meyer Burnett. Sitting beside him, hey, we got Christian Harloff in the house, everybody. Woo-hoo. Sitting back there, we got Ray Ora. Lurking in the background in the outer rim, we've got Taylor Gonzalez. Jonathan Boyko running the show, and Aaron Cummings with Joey Bishop is here. And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to break it down into two parts. In the first half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. And in the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. That's right, Special Tuesday. We're going to open up Super Chats later. So wait till we get to near the end of our main topics. We'll announce that we're opening up the Super Chats, and that will be your chance to fire in your thoughts, theories, questions, and opinions. And we will address those in the second part of the show. Also, a little bit of housekeeping. If you guys need your daily fix of the John Campea Show, good news. There is an audio-only version simply called the John Campea Show podcast. Just go onto your favorite podcasting app of choice, subscribe to it today, so it'll be there when you need it. Also, a little bit of a programming note. We're going to have an open mic a little bit later today, and it's just going to be me because we got the crew working on one of our Designing Hollywood episodes at the same time. So I'm going to be doing an open mic. That will be at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's LA time. Make sure you guys come back and join us for that. All right. With all that out of the way, let's jump into a couple things here, shall we? And the first one is this, and it's good news. Love starting with good news. Of course, you guys remember the horrible news that came out that Jeremy Renner, who apparently in the middle of a storm went out to try to help somebody who was stuck out in the snow and stranded in the storm and ended up having an accident. He got his chest crushed, legs crushed, all that kind of stuff. Of course, he sent out some social media messages from the hospital, looked pretty beat up. He looked like he did on the cover of the new season of Mayor of Kingstown. But you know what? And then some whispers start coming out. Oh, they're saying he's going to lose his leg. It's like, where's that coming from? Well, somebody they spoke to who was never even in the hospital said, well, hope he gets to keep his leg. Well, good news. Jeremy Renner is now posting on social media. He's now back at home. He's now back at home. He posted this on, you can bring up that page there, Jonathan, and scroll down a bit. He posted this on his account. He wrote in a post that was about the debut of Mayor of Kingstown, which I still have not watched. I wanted to watch it, but I felt bad watching it because Jeremy Renner was in the hospital. But at any rate, they posted about it, and Jeremy Renner followed up to it saying, outside of my brain fog in recovery, I was very excited to watch episode 201 with my family at home. So Hawkeye is on the mend, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I just like waking up, like in the midst of all the crappy news we've had lately, to hear about this to me makes my heart happy. Rob, you saw these back at home now. What are your thoughts?
Well, how can you not feel good about that? I mean, to be honest, the injuries he had were substantial, according to what was reported.
Well, and he didn't look great either when he posted his first picture.
I'm a big fan of his. We talked about his performance in The Town. I mean, I loved him in The Hurt Locker. I've been a fan. I love him as Hawkeye. Dude, I've got 3 hot toys of the man. And it's like, I feel terrible that somebody, who has brought joy to so many, he's the Avenger, the little Avenger that could.
He is.
He's got no superpowers. He just shoots arrows. And yet he's got maybe the most human soul of all of them. And I just, what happened to him was just tragic. But you know what? If he's home now, that means he really is on the mend. And he's out of ICU, and I love hearing this.
Christian, I mean, you weren't here when we were talking about all the stuff with Jeremy Renner, but he's back at home now. What are your thoughts?
That's great. I mean, even hearing you saying, like, who couldn't be, happy about this? Serves you right, Renner. Being a good guy. The guy was helping somebody out and had this freak accident, and you're 100% right. It's one of the things like every day you feel you wake up and they're like, somebody died, this happened, somebody's in trouble, this, and you're like, God sakes, and then it's like, no, he's good. He's going to be doing all right. He's watching stuff with his family. He's getting better, and it's a good story. And I wish him well, and I hope to see him kind of back and doing his thing whenever he can.
Aaron, I mean, look, we heard those rumors going around that, now he might be losing his leg. And none of it was coming from the immediate family. None of it was coming from the doctors. I don't know how this stuff picks up traction, gets running. But anyway, now we're seeing his at home. What do you think?
As everyone has already said, it is absolutely thrilling news. And I actually had the opposite reaction of you. I had not seen Mayor of Kingstown, so I started watching Mayor of Kingstown.
Oh, good for you.
I love it.
Isn't it good?
It is so it is fantastic. Another big W for Taylor Sheridan, and of course a big W for Jeremy Renner. This is one of those things where if you're going to just go Hollywood about it and say, well, the silver lining is, this terrible tragedy, fortunately having a happy ending, is not only going to lift the hearts of many who were sad about his...
Don't say it, Rob. Please continue. I can already see the gears turning in Rob's head. Please continue.
Oh, but it's also going to get people like me who were like intrigued about the show to go, oh yeah, we've been hearing a lot about Jeremy Renner. I want to, go and check out his show. It is fantastic. So I'm going to burn through that. But yeah, you do hear things like crushed chest, and I think we were all sort of holding our breath for the worst case scenario. So, good for him, and so happy that he's back with his family. Interestingly enough, one of his upcoming projects is called the Untitled OxyContin Project. So this is potentially going to give him a very interesting perspective, because I'm sure he's probably on a lot of pain meds right now.
Yeah. All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Jeremy Renner's now out of the hospital, back at home recovering. I'm sure everybody sends him their best well wishes and thoughts. Whatever you guys are feeling, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to another off the top here, shall we? And that one is this. Now, of course, yesterday, we and everybody across the internet was talking ad nauseum about the new HBO series, The Last of Us, which was absolutely phenomenal. Now, the last time I checked, and Taylor, you can maybe double check this. The last time I checked, it was at 98% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 95% audience rating. So, which is just incredible numbers across the board. The show was amazing and fantastic. And, somebody had asked me, how big do you think this show could be? And I said, well, it's a hard one to peg, because it is a video game property, a very popular video game property, but, not as well known as, say, Game of Thrones, right? So how big would it be? And unlike, say, Euphoria, which is now in multiple seasons, was building momentum, winning awards, this was its first season coming out of the gate. How would it do? Well, according to Deadline, it do well. Deadline is reporting now that The Last of Us, and we can bring this up there, Jonathan, has become HBO's second largest debuts after The House of Dragon in 13 years. With 4.7 million views. Now, to put this in context, the third biggest season debut was Euphoria, season 2 debut, which had 2.4. Now, obviously, and trailing far behind House of the Dragon, which is, of course, a legacy series building upon the most popular pop culturally influential television show maybe of all time in that. But it looks like this thing came out of the gate strong. I have to admit, as much as I loved the show, totally enraptured with it. You had the showrunner from Chernobyl on there. The cast is immaculate. I was not expecting the first episode's numbers to be this good. The scary thing for me now is, how big can it be? Like, once word of mouth, because the word of mouth is going to be good. Did we get those numbers, Taylor?
Yeah, it has a 99% tomato meter and a 96% audience
score. They've gone up. 99 and 96 from 98 and 95. So now you're going to start to get that effect of, okay, word of mouth is going to go now. And people who didn't check it out are going to hear from their annoying workmates, oh my God, you got to see this show. And it's going to, and where the numbers this thing's going to have by the time we get to episode 5, I don't know. Anyway, Christian, you see these numbers, what stands out to you?
Oh, a lot. I think that, obviously it shows how big the video game industry really is. That's part one. With the amount of fans and how hardcore the fans are, you're going to get, if you do it right, and they feel it's faithful, they're going to show up, right? And I had mentioned this, you had mentioned this, I said it's one of the most faithful adaptations, and everybody started throwing out like Arcane, which I loved, right? Well, Castlevania, but the thing is, those are not stories that were really adapted. They're characters that were taken from like League of Legends and stuff too. There was not like a specific story that was taken. There hasn't been a lot of, even people are like, well, Pokemon was taken, the characters were taken. And this is something
way
that,
better than Pokemon.
Yeah, but the point is that, you know, the adaptation of the actual story, and can you keep it true to the video game hardcore fan and expand on stuff where they're not pissed off about it changing it, and they scratched the back of those people, and they were, because look at what they did with Halo, they just said, oh, the Master Chief's there, but everything else has changed. They're like, no, we want to see how the Covenant and all that stuff happened. And I felt they dropped the ball tremendously on that show. But this was something, and the big reason that it's also doing well is because the word of mouth from critics, they sent the whole season to critics, by the way. They sent the whole entire season.
Yeah, they did.
That means extreme confidence. They're not worried about a lot of the spoilers getting out and all of that. And even if they do, it's going to bring more word of mouth. But this is the test for me, is my wife bails on everything when it comes to shows. And she's not a zombie post-apocalyptic type, and I sat her down to watch it with me. She watched it all the way through, and she was engaged in it because of the story and the characters, and and to me, if you can hook a casual fan like that, that's why it's got that number, because casual fans who don't know about the game, who sit down just to watch a good story, they're going to get that. And there's emotional beats, there's stuff that happens right up top that I thought just played really well, and it's got the makings of a show that's going to last for a while.
Aaron, you saw these numbers, how big this show is. Were you surprised to hear, like, how, considering all the stuff HBO has had on in the last 13 years? I mean, this is incredible. What did you think about it?
It's not a surprise at all. Well, first of all, I want to speak totally to what Christian just said. I have never played the game. If I weren't on this show, I wouldn't even know that it was a game. I know nothing about the video game industry, as many of our viewers can attest to. And I will say that, but I am a big fan of anything having to do with zombies. I have a family plan for what happens in the case of a zombie apocalypse. Tom's not a big fan of it because it means that I just basically eat my entire family so that we all die together. We're not trying to be heroes, but I can respect.
Not gonna be heroes.
I am not a hero.
Just for one day?
Huh?
Oh God!
Immediately, literally, the second
tape?
that I hear about zombies, I'm putting on a tank top, I'm running outside, exposing myself, then going straight back in and biting Tom, then the baby, then Joey Bishop and the cats in that order, and we all die together happily ever after.
That sounds as bad as The Fog.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I hope it happens. Anyway, back to the show. This show was phenomenal for someone who is the casual television viewer, but also loves a good zombie movie. Train to Busan is one of my favorites. I loved We All Die. We All Die Here. What was the Korean?
The Korean one. We're all going to die.
We're all going to die. Yes, I loved that. And you're absolutely right with the story hooking you right from the beginning. We're emotionally invested, and the way that plays out, obviously no spoilers, but the way that plays out when we see what he does later on in the episode and his reaction, we all know exactly where that comes from. And to see the young girl's reaction as a direct conflict with his daughter's reaction to a similar situation was fascinating. When there is an accident behind the car, and you all know what I'm talking about, my jaw dropped. And
yes, and freaked out at that.
I was riveted. And when you've seen Korean zombie movies and Korean zombie shows, it's really hard to be shocked by anything. I thought this was so beautifully done. Home run for Craig Mazin. I love Chernobyl, and I'm so happy to see that he followed it up with something just as powerful, if not more so. I'm really excited to see the rest of the season.
I can already see the people, because we heard a lot of it yesterday.
It's not zombies.
It's not zombies. Yeah. It's a zombie movie. You can call it whatever you want, but essentially it's a zombie genre.
See, and we'll have it's probably a longer conversation. I actually agree with the chat on that one too. It's an infection as opposed to a zombie. I think that's what's so intriguing about it was the way that they explain it and the idea behind it. That's what one of the things that it's got to separate itself from something like The Walking Dead or Night of the Living Dead. I think that this infection idea is accurate, and we all got to get used to it.
We talked about the science of it, and the way they on the spoiler discussion, and it's amazing. It's great. But you get this infection, you get bit, you die, you come back as a flesh-craving thing to go and bite and kill other.
How is that not a zombie
movie?
By the way, I was really excited to see my old pal John Hannah from Spartacus as the doctor at the very beginning, who's explaining the science.
He is awesome in that.
He was Body Otis in Spartacus. I was like, "What's up, John Hannah?"
Who did you say? Somebody said, "Oh, that's the actor from
Mummy."
And he was also in The Mummy.
Sliding doors.
Wait,
And
somebody
in
said on the show-
Supernatural too. One of the actors.
Oh, you talking about Big Head from Silicon Valley?
No. Talking about the guy from Spartacus. But somebody on the show yesterday said, "Oh, he's from this." I said, "No.
Yeah.
He's from Spartacus."
That was him.
Anyway, Rob, you see these kinds of numbers. I mean, nobody should have expected that it would come in anywhere near House of the Dragon, considering that's coming off of one of the most popular television series of all time. But to be the number 2 thing in like 13 years, I don't know. What do you think it means?
Well, I think here's the thing. Like the game, the thing about The Last of Us that I found fascinating as a video game is the actual story and the relationship between Joel and Ellie were just as important as the gameplay. And it worked in tandem with each other, creating an experience that not a lot of gamers had, which is why people say this is one of the greatest storytelling video games ever. We have seen so many different variations on the zombie theme. And I think what's going to happen with this show is what happened with the game, in that amidst the fall of civilization and the apocalyptic infection that has taken over, and at its core, it's the story of a father and a daughter trying to make their way in the world and basically to save, well, themselves and humanity. So other than like The Walking Dead, which ended up wallowing in its nihilism, and this at its core is even though it's optimistic,
It's hopeful.
it is hopeful, and it's about love, and it's about familial bonds. And so this is going to reinvent, I think, the zombie genre. Let's face it, has become a little stale. We've seen a lot. Walking Dead went how many seasons? Fear the Walking Dead, World of the Walking Dead. How many Walking... And I love The Walking Dead. Dawn of the Dead is one of my favorite movies of all time, the original. And I think this movie is going to affect people the same way that the game did. And I think an audience that is not gamers that have been watching all these zombie things are going to see something new that they haven't seen in other zombie entertainments.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Incredible debut numbers for The Last of Us. It can only go up from here. Whatever you guys are thinking about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on now to our Mint Mobile hotline question of the day. If you guys have a question you'd like to hear us address on the show and you'd like to hear your own voice as well, just go ahead and call our Mint Mobile hotline anytime, 24/7 at 951-268-4259. Ryan Reynolds will use all of his free time to personally transcribe the message, bring it into us, and we will have it here on the show. And today's question, following up on yesterday's Netflix topic, is about, is Netflix making too much stuff? Check it out.
Oh, hi. My name's Peter Cunnington. My question is, do you think that Netflix would have better success with their shows if they didn't put out so many volume of shows and bury them and not really promote them very well? So by the time you actually kind of hear about a show, it's basically over, or you forget about it, and then you're going to think about going back to watch it, but you don't even know where it is or what to watch. And then they might not cancel so many shows either. Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot for sending that in, man. So yesterday we were talking on the show about, if somebody wrote in and asked the question, or called in and asked, if Netflix moved to the week-by-week release of things, could that help prevent some shows from getting so many early access? To which we all thought around here, yes, because then you're giving the show the opportunity to build an audience, like in Under WandaVision, which had pretty small numbers when it debuted. By the time I got to episode 7 or 8, it was one of the number 1 shows in the world. And Netflix shows, like, they have a very short window of opportunity once they drop to pick up an audience. You got like 72 hours. If you don't pick up a viral nature, if you will, on your show within the first 72 hours, you're done. And a week-by-week release would do that. This is an interesting question, though, because, oh my God, you're not wrong about the quantity of content that Netflix puts out. Just their original movies, forget the series. The original movies, what was the number? It was like 80-something original movies they were putting out in a year. I don't have the exact number, but it's in that ballpark there. And their number of series that they're dropping all the time is insane. And one of their biggest complaints about Netflix has always been, as much as I like Netflix, is Netflix will never tell you about our stuff. Because there's so many people writing, hey, John, did you see this on Netflix? Hell, I never even heard of it. I'm on Netflix all the time and I never heard of it because they don't know how to promote their stuff. I haven't thought about it, but I think your question, I agree. I really do think that a part of the problem that Netflix is facing and why so many other shows don't get anything is because they simply have such a glut of content. If you look at Apple Plus, right? Apple Plus is going about it very differently than a lot of the other streamers. And I'm not saying they're doing it right, but they are enjoying some success with the notion of they don't put out a lot, but they put a lot of care and attention into each of the few things they put out, and they market the hell out of the few things that they put out. Whether you're talking about things like Severance, or you're talking about Ted Lasso, or you're talking about, God, I love Mythic Quest. I love Mythic Quest, but they don't put out a ton of stuff. So it's a polar opposite of what something like Netflix is doing. So without giving it a ton of time to think about it, yeah, I actually think it would behoove Netflix to say, you know what? Why don't we make half the stuff that we make? Let's put a little bit more resources into that. Let's put a little bit of the money that we would have spent on 10 shows that nobody would have watched and maybe use it in some marketing. Again, what the approach would be, I'm not sure, but I think in principle, your philosophy of would fewer shows help the shows that they have? I think so. I don't know, Aaron, what do you think about that?
Well, it's interesting. As we're talking about this, I'm looking at this article that is actually on one of Netflix. It's on What's on Netflix, which I don't know if that is a Netflix affiliated site or not, but it's talking about how Netflix has a 50% ratio of their originals to their licensed products, meaning that for every one streaming show or movie that they have that they're licensing from someone else, they have an equal number of original series. And this article is talking about that as if it's a good thing. But the problem that I find with Netflix is something that you've been complaining, John, about for years, which is that they look, I don't know what their marketing budget is, but it's got to be in the single or double digits. And I'm meaning like $15 because I never see anything marketed anywhere. And the only reason I even know that anything's on Netflix is because I go to what's new. And I've got to figure out my algorithm because it keeps suggesting these shows to me that I have no interest in watching. No zombie shows, just more crap like Bridgerton. No offense to the Bridgerton folks. But they really do have such a deluge of content that it kind of is like, it's like the reason I don't eat at Cheesecake Factory. Don't give me all those options. Give me in and out.
They bring you a novel to read for a menu.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to put that much energy into it. You know, I like the Steve Jobs method of I'm going to wear the same outfit every day because I want to think about other stuff. If I have to go to your website and actually think about it and get overwhelmed by the amount of content, I'm just going to go somewhere else. And it makes me actually long for, what's happening next on Apple Plus? It just makes me kind of want to switch the channel.
Christian, what do you think?
When I walk into the Cheesecake Factory, I know exactly what I want, but I don't go through the menu. So I already know. Stranger Things. It's like, I know.
There you go.
You know what I mean? I know what's there. I know what I'm going to order, and then I'm gone because I'm not going to browse around too long because it's exhausting. You can browse through Netflix for an hour and a half to 2 hours before you find anything. Plus, you don't know if it's any good. And the stupidest thing, one of the many stupid things that they do, but the stupidest thing is, all right, let me watch a trailer for it. And some scene from the middle of the movie plays.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I hate that.
I'm like, I don't even know what this is. Why do I care about some guy in the kitchen talking about how he's going to make a burrito? I don't care about this. It's like, what is this? What is the movie? What is the show? And that happens all the time. I think it's a mixture of everything. What the caller says, too much focus, and the week by week are two things. The problem is they're playing in a game because they were the first. They were the ones to go, well, we're the streaming. We did everything. We dictated how everybody else is going to do it, so we're going to do it our way. And their way is not working anymore because you know who's playing the game really good right now is Paramount Plus. I know when their new shows are coming out, and granted, every one of them is Taylor Sheridan, but who cares?
But they're good.
Who cares? I know when their show is coming out. Apple is another great example, right? I know when their shows are coming out because they put trailers behind it. There's marketing behind it. I hear things about it. There's stories behind it. And like, it's exhausting I can even imagine for the trades to cover all the Netflix stuff because there's one every other week or every other day.
Every other hour,
right? And it's like this new thing. Like last night, there was something on Netflix I was looking for, and I was going to start watching RRR, right? And so I
John
sat,
loves it.
Well, but I sat down and I was going to start, and as I'm going through these documentaries that all looked interesting start popping up, and I'm like, well, I didn't hear anything about that and that, and then I'm like, oh, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to watch Young Rock. And I did the movie that I was there to see in the first place. I went to go watch Young Rock on Peacock because first thing that popped up, I wanted to see that. The marketing behind it has to change. The week to week has to change. They need some big effects. They've got the money and they've got they've got great stuff.
And they got the library.
They have it. Yeah.
They've got the library. Rob, what do you think about the question? I mean, it is part of the, like, a lot of people will argue about quantity over quality, but is too much quantity becoming a problem for them?
John, in our house, we call it flick sand. Like, Elizabeth's like, what are you doing? And I say, I'm caught in the flick sand. And she knows that I'm sitting there on the Netflix.
It's a PG show. It's a PG show.
No, I'm going around, instead of, I'm stuck in the flick sand. I'm like, I don't know. Help me. I'm drowning. But I think that the problem that I can't stand with modern streaming, and Netflix is the worst, is every single thing has the same size thumbnail. It's all the same. Sometimes they'll give you like your featured thing or what but for the most part, I would love to have some kind of a place like, and they show you the top 10 in your country or whatever, but I would like to see some kind of an interface that says, here's what's dropped, like here's the Netflix calendar for the week.
Yes.
Like what we talk about.
Yeah.
Here's what has dropped this week. And it gives you a Netflix calendar, some kind of an interface that tells you what is there, because when you like, look, I'll go, even when I go to a genre like horror, suddenly I'm confronted with all these horror. It's all the same thumbnail, and sometimes there's something I'm looking for, like whatever, like if I'm looking for Baskin, this Turkish horror film, and it looks the same as everything else, and I'm looking right at what I want, and I don't even see it because it's surrounded by all these other ridiculously horribly designed horror posters that look exactly the same. Stuck in the flick sand, man.
But you know what, Robert? I was actually stuck in the flick sand the other night, and Tom and I were just wanting to put something on. We just put the kid down to bed. We're just wanting to eat our food, and I go, you know what? Robert Meyer Burnett always knows the latest stuff that's just come out. I'm going to text him, and he's going to tell us what to watch. And I texted, Robert, what should I watch right now? And this, excuse me, mother effer, for those who don't like my cursing, texted me back and said, watch Strange Days on HBO. And I was like, there's a new show called Strange Days. It's a 1995 film. I was like,
but
it's a great movie.
But it just dropped on HBO Max, and you can't get it on physical media.
Great movie, and ahead of its time. Ahead of its time, that for
Catherine
sure.
Bigelow,
Ahead of its
James
time in
Cameron wrote it.
1995. I need 2023.
I know.
Well, you should have specified.
There's something that Rob
to watch on Netflix, watching myself add things to my queue that I'm never going to watch.
Exactly.
Well, something that Rob just said
40
though
minutes.
would be interesting. Also, Netflix has 8 billion comedians, right? That they do specials.
A lot of comedy
for.
specials.
A lot of specials that pop up. If you did something like both what Aaron and Robert just said, imagine like a show that is featured half an hour, whatever it might be, a comedian hosting it, whatever it could be, and saying, hey, guess what? This week, this is all the stuff that had dropped on Netflix. Boom, you get there's a comedy specialist coming out. There's the new documentaries that are coming out. There's these movies and an original TV show, and we have one of the stars from the TV show here. Here you go. And it's like, it's the first thing you see when you pop up. You watch it for whatever, it's 15, 20 minutes. And then like, they just covered a whole bunch of stuff that's dropping this week. And it's like a weekly show.
What's kind of ironic about this whole conversation also? I just remembered one of my neighbors in my building is actually a marketing executive for Netflix.
I was going to say, don't you live like right beside a Netflix exec?
I do, and he's a good friend of mine. So guess what, Chris? I'm sending you this video, and I hope that you show it to all your buddies at Netflix.
We talked about that, like an Entertainment Tonight of Netflix, like 5 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Like, why don't they do that like every week or every night? Like you said,
I think if you do it every week though on Monday, because you have the programming of knowing what's coming out, then you have an idea that you can see all these different things. It's a new for all you true crime lovers. We have this for all this. It's like, oh wow, I didn't know that dropped this week.
If you want environmental catastrophe documentary,
100%, they have everything.
And the John Campea channel can produce that content.
Yeah, we can make it. Don't laugh. There were conversations about that a few years ago. But anyway, I won't go down that rabbit hole. Guys, question is for you. 100%. What do you think about this? Do you think maybe that Netflix might benefit from the idea of cutting down on the amount of stuff that they do and putting more attention to the stuff that they're trying to promote? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to do something we haven't done here in a while. We're going to play a little game of movie quotes, which I'm excited about. We got Ray is going to be playing. We got Aaron is going to be playing. Rob and Christian are going to be playing. And what are they playing for? Well, Ray has selected a bunch of our channel members. They're going to be represented by each of them. And if whoever wins, the channel member that they are representing will get this about to be Academy Award winner, Queen Ramonda from Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and it is autographed by everybody who is in the studio here today. We will send that out. So, Ray, who is playing for our channel members?
Taylor has.
Taylor's got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have Christian playing for Mr. Downtown. We have Rob playing for David D. Ray, I'm sorry, to Christ's Courage. Ray is playing for you, and Aaron is playing for Jackmaster Nord.
All right. So whichever one of our players wins, the member they are representing will win this little thing here. All right. Here's how movie quotes works. It's going to be 4 rounds of 4 quotes. There will be a movie. We will give our first quote from that movie. If the player guesses it, they get 4 points. Then we'll move on. If they don't get it, we'll go to the next quote from that same movie. If then they get it, it's worth 3 points, 2 points, 1 point. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. So we are going to start with Ray. Make sure Aaron's monitor. Oh, no, Aaron, that's right. We don't have the answers up. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to start with Ray here. All right, and only Ray can answer this question. There can be no steals. So, Ray, for our first movie, worth 4 points, the quote is, I'm bad, and that's good. I will never be good, and that's not bad.
I don't know.
Oh, come on, Ray.
3,
I
2,
don't know.
1. All right, he doesn't know, so we will go on to the second quote, and we're going to go clockwise. Now, Rob has the opportunity to answer first, but if he does not get it, and one of the other players knows it, they can raise their paddle. We'll go to the first person who raises their paddle. They'll have a chance to steal, but if they raise their paddle and get it wrong, they lose that amount of points. So, Rob, the second quote for 3 points from the same movie is, how dare you insult hero's duty, you little gutter snipe. I earned that medal. 3, 2,
Free guy.
1. Incorrect. Anybody want to steal? No steals yet. Okay, we go to Christian. Now it's worth 2 points. The next quote is, person 1, why are your hands so freakishly big? Person 2, I don't know. Why are you so freakishly annoying?
It's all from the same movie. All right, let's see. I probably haven't seen this movie.
3, 2.
Mean Girls.
Incorrect. Anybody want to steal? No? Okay, then we move on to the final quote to Aaron, worth 1 point now. And the final quote is, turns out I don't need a medal to tell me I'm a good guy. Wow. Because if that little kid likes me, how bad can I be? Darn it. 3,
Christian
2,
knows it. I don't.
1. Paddle. Christian.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph for 1 point. Christian gets 1 point, and it is Wreck-It Ralph. All right.
He might win with 1 point.
He might end up winning 1 point. May do. All right. Let's now move on to the second movie that we're doing, and we are going clockwise. We're going to start with Rob. We'll get the first quote. Only Rob can answer the first quote. And the quote is, 1 particle of unobtainium has a nuclear reaction with the flux capacitor. Carry the 2, change its atomic isotoner into a radioactive spider. Fuck you, science. 3, 2,
Back to the Future.
Incorrect. All right. We move on now to Christian. For 3 points, the second quote from this movie is, person 1 says, do you even know the Miranda rights? Person 2, it obviously starts with, you have the right to remain an attorney. 3, 2,
Deadpool.
1. Incorrect. Anybody want to steal? No? All right. Then we go over to Aaron now for 2 points. And the third quote from this movie is, I am one more black gay kid getting punched in the face away from a nervous breakdown. 3, 2, 1. Drawing a blank. Any steals? All right, we go to Ray for the last quote, worth 1 point.
This one's a for sure.
And the final quote is, hey, stop fucking with Korean Jesus. He ain't got time for your problems. He's busy with Korean shit.
21 Jump Street.
Correct for 1 point. Ray is on the board.
Dead heat.
It's a dead heat. 1-1. Heading into, we got 2 rounds left. Now we go over to Aaron, who's going to be the first to guess on our third movie. And the first quote from our third movie is, if this relationship is going to work out between us, I need to feel free to party with a bunch of strangers whenever I feel like it. I will text you.
I mean, I've said that, but I don't.
3, 2, 1. All right. We go over to Rave with the second quote. And for 3 points, The quote is, "Today will not be known as Taco Tuesday. It will be known as Freedom Friday, but still on a Tuesday." 3, 2, 1. All right, any steals? No, all right, we go over to Rob. Our third quote from this movie, worth 2 points, and the lead is, "Hi, I'm President Business, president of the Octan Corporation and the world. Let's take extra care to follow the instructions or you'll be put to sleep."
Pineapple Express.
Incorrect for steal.
The Lego movie.
Lego Movie for 2 points. And Christian races into what seems like an insurmountable lead at this point.
No, these dad movies.
That's President Business game.
All right, so it was the Lego Movie. All right. The game is still up for grabs. Actually, if we are now on Christian.
Yeah.
So if, no, are we on Christian? Yep, we are now on Christian. If you get this one.
Okay.
Wait, we didn't start.
No. We started.
Well, you went to Rob and then you skipped Christian.
Oh,
went
did we
to
skip
me,
Christian?
so
Okay,
we'll go
so
back to
apologies for that. So we'll now go to Christian
It hasn't hurt him.
for the win and 4 points. Our fourth movie and its first quote is, person 1, "What kind of hooker takes credit cards?" Person 2, "A rich one."
Pretty Woman.
Incorrect. All right. We go over now to Aaron, who can tie this up. If Aaron gets this, or somebody can steal it, it will tie up. Christian will go to a sudden death. All right, Aaron. The second quote from this movie is, "The name of the game, moving the money from the client's pocket to your pocket."
21? No, that's wrong.
The movie we already just talked about? No. Or you're talking about 21 grams?
No, it's 21 is a.
That's
is a movie.
21.
Oh, that's right. No, I'm thinking of 20 grams. But either way, no, there's no 21 in the name of it. All right. Open to steal.
Anybody?
Nobody steals. Christian wins the game, but we will finish out the round
Oh, you didn't do
anyway.
one more? Oh, wait, yeah, because it wouldn't
Yeah.
matter. Right?
Well, actually, no. Ray can tie.
Ray
only
has
needs
Ray
2.
has 1 and I have 2.
That's right. Ray only needs 2 points. So Ray, we do go over to you.
Yeah.
So this is number 3 then?
Third quote.
Okay.
This would be 2 points, right?
This is worth 2 points. The year I turned 26, as the head of my own brokerage firm, I made $49 million, which really pissed me off because it was 3 shy of $1 million a week.
I was up first.
Ray.
No.
Yes, I was.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Correct. All right. So that means, hold up now. This is not something I was.
Wow.
Who would have thought that this would tie 3-3?
We've never seen power levels like this.
So, what's the number? 9,000? It's over 9,000. Okay. All right. So we need to pull out. I need to pull out of my my ass
stop.
here.
Oh, yeah, that's
A movie for. Okay. We're gonna go. Ray, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. What's that?
He said 1. He said 1. 6.
The number was 2. So Ray will get to go first.
Or can I say who goes first?
You can say who. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Christian could go first.
All right. So he'll have the first opportunity.
So this
to
is
win
between he and I, right?
It's just between you
Okay.
and Ray, correct? So give me one moment to bring up some quotes because I was not thinking that we were going to need extra time here. All right. So you said you're going to go first, or Ray's, or Christian's going to go first. Okay. So Christian, our first quote from this sudden death movie.
So we're tied at 3.
Okay, here we go.
Sandy.
Don't look so serious, Christian. Seriously.
That's the wrong one.
Okay.
This
Sorry,
never happened on the Schmo.
I was not prepared
That's the
for
wrong
this.
one. Debbie Does Dallas.
Well, you know, for
That's some great dialogue.
Actually, that's the wrong. I just pulled up the wrong movie. I'm
wrong
sorry about that.
just want to say hi to all our podcast listeners.
Boy, yeah, all our this is quality programming right here. Dead airspace is quality program. Okay, this is the one we're gonna go with. All right. This I was clearly not prepared for this, guys.
Give me
I'm
a dad
sorry.
joke, Christian. Come on.
Dad joke.
A dad joke or
I haven't
really?
heard
How about a
one
dirty
today.
joke?
we
How about a
haven't
dirty
heard
joke?
one
No dirty jokes.
Oh.
We're good.
Okay.
Oh, all of them are dirty?
Well, it's not that too dirty. How do you find a rat hole?
How?
Lift
Okay,
up its tail. Whoa.
All right. So Christian, we're gonna start with you.
Yeah.
Here we go.
He wins.
The first quote for the win is, "I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but I accept it."
Every day, my family.
3, 2.
Vacation.
Incorrect. All right. Ray, your second, and for the win. Let me give you some advice. Assume everyone will betray you and you will never be disappointed.
God, I know this. Too, I can't peg it.
3, 2, 1. All right. Oh, yes. Did you got it?
Downtown, Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Incorrect. Your winner is Ray Ora. As Christian loses a point. The movie is Solo, a Star Wars story. Solo, a Star Wars story.
What does Zendaya say? I banged off the side of the rim. Whoa! But what does Zendaya say in No Way Home? Doesn't she say the same thing?
She does say something like
She
that.
says something similar.
I don't think she says assume people will betray you. I don't think she says. She does have a similar
always
line
you'll be
to that.
let down.
Yes.
Sorry, Downtown. I banked off the side of the rim.
The next quote was going to be, you need an incredibly fast ship and a brilliant pilot. Of
course.
So your winner,
Star Wars. Of course.
The internet's never going to let you live that one.
I know. People, no, they'll let me live that because I talk about how I don't love that movie, so it's fine.
What?
Ray was representing Christ's courage.
Christ's courage, baby.
All right, Ray will be in touch with you, and you will be getting this Funko Pop. Will be coming your way. Congratulations. All right. With that down, sorry for the delay. I was trying to get that. I should have had a sudden death ready to go. Anyway, guys, we're now going to move on to our main
that movie
topics.
even more.
But before we do, we're going to take a quick second here and thank one of the sponsors of our show here today, our friends over at MasterClass. We want to thank a sponsor of this video, MasterClass. MasterClass offers classes on a wide variety of topics, all taught by world-class instructors at the very top of their fields. Each class is broken out into individual video lessons, usually around 10 minutes long. And MasterClass is completely accessible on your phone, the web, smart TV, and available via audio mode to listen to classes on the go. They have over 2,500 video lessons from over 180 of today's most brilliant minds. They're all available anytime, anywhere on iOS, Android, desktop, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Roku. Now, obviously around here on the John Campea Show, we love our movies, so why not learn filmmaking from Jodie Foster, or maybe directing from Ron Howard himself, or the great Neil Gaiman doing his masterclass on the art of storytelling. And you guys have heard me talk about my favorite masterclass, Business Strategy and Leadership by Big Papa Iger himself, Bob Iger, the new and returning CEO of Disney. Guys, I highly recommend that you check it out. This holiday, give the perfect gift of an annual Masterclass membership and get one free. Go to masterclass.com/Campea today. That's masterclass.com/Campea. Terms apply. And thank you again to our friends at MasterClass for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Again, guys, we love MasterClass around here. I use it all the time. And guys, remember, when you support our sponsors, you're actually supporting us. So if you go down to the description of the video, right at the top, you'll see links to all of the sponsors of today's show and their promo codes. And once again, thank you to MasterClass. All right, guys, with that down, let's now move into our main topics here today, shall we? And how do we select our main topics on the show? Well, that part is simple because you guys come up with our main topics. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we must cover as a main topic on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Aaron, have you caught your breath?
I have.
Then let's go to our first main question today. What do we got?
This comes to us from Galactic Champ. Hey, crew, we have now officially got confirmation on the character portrayed by William Jackson Harper in Aaron's most anticipated movie, Quantumania. Jackson's character is known as Quaz, who is a freedom fighter within Quantum Realm and Telepath. While William isn't playing the heavily speculated role of Reed Richards from Fantastic Four, who I still think might appear, it is good to see an official confirmation on the role. John, what do you think about this casting update? Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. And when William Jackson Harper was announced, everybody was like, oh my God, again, from The Good Place, he's absolutely fantastic in that. We all loved his work on it. And we started speculating, who could he be? And, somebody asked a question, could he be Reed Richards? And we thought, at least I thought, you know what? Man, if somebody was going to pull off the smartest man in the world kind of vibes, granted, it's a little bit of typecasting because of his role in The Good Place, but like, I could totally see him playing the smartest man in the world. I could see that. I mean, didn't necessarily think he was going to be it, but I said, yeah, that has some merit to it. Well, now we know he is playing Quaz. Full admission here. When I saw the headline and I saw the story that he was playing Quaz, I immediately started going, who the hell was Quaz? And I started thinking, is it this? No, it's not that guy. Oh, it's this guy. No, it can't be that guy. And I started getting online and looking. Quaz is a new character. Is not from the Marvel comics. This comes to us from the folks over at Screen Rant who wrote the following. William Jackson Harper's MCU role as Quaz is a telepath inside the quantum realm. Quaz is a freedom fighter and is pictured next to Katie M. O'Brien's Gentora. There are no other details confirmed about how Quaz factors into Ant-Man 3's story, but he could have a chance to fight alongside of the movie's main heroes against Kang. All right, so a couple of interesting things here. One, now we know who the character is. We know a little bit about him. It's not a traditional MCU character. It's a brand new character. There we get a first good look at him. By the way, it looks really good. But just within the description of the character, we get a little bit of an idea of the movie too, that there is an organized society down there. There are oppressors and there are freedom fighters. And we're starting to get a little, it reminds me of another movie of somebody who ends up in a world and ends up fighting for freedom, not Planet of the Apes, but there's probably many others that do that as well. Anyway, this looks good to me. I admit I was expecting to hear some recognizable Marvel comic book character's name associated with them. But hey, you got to create characters for your stories. Rob, you hear about this. What do you think about the look of it? What do you think about the description? And were you able to glean any information about the movie itself from it?
Well, it was intriguing because one of the producers, there's a story that went out over the weekend that called this movie a war film.
Yes.
Which is something that I was like, wow. And we've seen troops gathering. We've seen ships departing. I assume those were Kang's forces going somewhere. But a war film, that surprised me hearing that. That was not what I was thinking. But clearly there is a massive conflict happening within the quantum realm. And that kind of excites me. I'm like, that's interesting. And the idea that, you know, if Kang is a despot that is an evil ruler and can't get out, or this iteration needs to get out, maybe that's what he needs Ant-Man for, to get him out. Like, help me get the hell out of the quantum realm. I don't know. But the fact that we now have freedom fighters, I mean, it looked like, I got to say, it kind of looked Matrix-y to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that, just the little, whatever that costume is, it's pretty cool. Like I love the idea that there are factions within the quantum realm, new characters. I mean, that one shot we've seen in the trailer where the dude with like the television head or whatever walks up, like, who are those dudes? You know, and I'm like,
they look like the dudes from Stray.
They're called TV heads.
It kind of does, actually. And I have to say that this movie gets more and more interesting to me the more I hear about it. So if anything, it kicks my excitement level up.
By the way, the movie I was thinking of, Demarius Love pointed out, kudos to Demarius Love in the live chat, Mom and Dad Save the World, which kudos to anybody who ever references Mom and Dad Save the World. I love that movie. Anyway, Christian, you saw the news. We know who he's playing now. What do you think?
Woody Harrelson says it to him in that solo. I will say that downtown Christian Harloff. I get it. Look, this is great. I actually really like the idea that they have new characters also, because it also allows the internet to relax for a second instead of like, well, maybe because in the comic books he does this and does that. And I love that. I love that we can do that, but it gives a chance to go, well, no, let's learn about, as you said, John, let's learn about some new characters. Let's learn about some new people. And I love, I'm glad you said The Matrix, exactly what I was thinking, where, you know, they have like that little underground where they're fighting this threat that they don't know how to beat. And here come like these outsiders who can help us out and maybe, and figure out a way, because that's what that scene looks like. It looks like they're having some kind of meeting. Let's bring these people in here maybe. And Janet has been there. You know,
she's been there for a while.
She's been there. She knows. She seems to know a lot more than she's leading on. So, I think this is great. I love the idea of introducing new characters, and I think, and I love that quote about the war film. This movie. I'm sorry, Aaron. I'm really looking forward to this one a lot. It was one of my most. It's the trailer. I think just delivered on a whole other level. That's the last one.
Aaron, I mean, you didn't like the trailer. which by the way, is something I said. I could see a lot of the casual moviegoers looking at that trailer saying, "What is there to this?" But now we know.
Well, the casual moviegoer is an idiot. As I have been told by the internet, anyone who did not love that trailer is an absolute moron and should be crucified.
What do you think about that?
I apologize for that. I hadn't had my coffee.
I want to say this. No. I think that context is very important because in preparation for this, first of all, I'm very excited about this casting to answer the original question because, good Texas kid right here, has a strong theater background. He's got lots of really great projects that are coming up. He also does voiceover work. And as you have said, it's never a bad investment when you add talent. And this kid has talent. I keep calling him a kid. We're the same age, but he has a youthful quality about him, which I think is going to lend itself to a very long, prosperous career. One of the things that the article touches on is that while his specific character is not not based in the comic book, there is an idea that that character may be an amalgamation of many different characters, so that the people who are really big fans of the comic might notice specific character traits from different characters that all come together as this one. And in preparation for this, I went back and rewatched the trailer, but I watched the first trailer that I hadn't seen. And all the things that I said, I really want to see more of Paul Rudd's personality, I saw in the first trailer.
That was in the first trailer.
Right,
yeah.
And that's the thing is, to be honest, one of the things that I love about doing this show and that I love about our community is that for me, the casual moviegoer who is spending 5 days out of the week chasing a toddler around, I don't see every single trailer that drops on YouTube. What? I see the ones I know, right, Rob, right? I see the ones in preparation for this show. And so as a casual moviegoer, without seeing that first trailer, I watched it. I was like, action, action, action. Where's the story? When I watched that first trailer and then I watched the second trailer, I went, oh, now I see why everybody was losing their mind. But without the first trailer to give me that story and to give me the depth and the gravitas of what they were all fighting for, it didn't really track. So while I don't take back what I said last week, I do think that it's something for these studios to think about, that when you're marketing a movie, you can't always assume that every single person watching your second trailer will have seen the first one. Obviously for the big movie fans, you're going to have watched all of it and you're going to be even more excited. But for the casual moviegoer that doesn't get a chance to see the first one, give me a little bit about that too. So now, having seen both of them, my interest is much more piqued, and I do understand why everyone who saw the first trailer was even more excited after the drop of the second trailer. And the addition of this new casting is just going to make it that much better, knowing that even more talent is being added to the roster.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Now we've got a little bit more context for his character, even a little bit more context for the movie itself. How are you feeling about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 2, shall we? Aaron, what is our second main topic today?
Our second main topic comes to us from Dr. Nick. I just learned that Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is expanding to 1,500 theaters in February. This movie is not only the Citizen Kane of bear horror movies, but it is also an experiment in regard to IP that has just entered the public domain. What do you all think of this move?
All right, this is interesting. Now, for those of you who have not heard of it, and you can be completely forgiven if you have not, there's a little movie called Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. The basic premise is this. Christopher Robin leaves the 100-acre wood, grows up, goes off, then ends up going to college, whatever, and finally, after years, comes back to the 100-acre wood, only to find that Winnie and Piglet have gone mad. They've killed the other members of the 100-acre wood, and now they are hunting people and eating people. And now that they heard that Christopher Robin is back, who they feel abandoned them, they're after him and his girlfriend now, too. It looks ridiculous, and I cannot wait to watch this thing. Now, this was because Winnie the Pooh is in the public domain. Anybody can make a Winnie the Pooh movie. As long as you don't steal things from other Winnie the Pooh material that was created by those storytellers, as long as you're only drawing from the original source material and creating your stuff around it, you're good. We can make a Winnie the Pooh movie this afternoon if we wanted to. So they're making Blood and Honey. Now, it was going to play in theaters for one day in a limited number of theaters. Well, Taylor has talked about it so much that the folks at Fathom Events said, nah, screw that. We're going to play this for over a week on 1,500 screens. 1,500 screens for a movie that probably costs less than what we will pay for lunch today. It was just somebody that just bought a mask out of the discount bin at Target and said, this looks good. Let's make a movie out of it. Sure. And you know what? I'm thrilled. I would love this. I would love for this movie. Look, it's going to be absolute hot garbage, but I would love for this movie to end up being awesome fun and have it make like $20 million. I just love little stories like that, these little movies that could. And no, that's not supposed to be a man in the mask. That is supposed to be Winnie the Pooh.
No.
Yes. It's not a man running around in a Winnie the Pooh mask. That's Winnie the Pooh.
Somehow he's a biped.
And now he's so there you go. I have to ask Taylor, where's your joy level at this point? Because I know you've been kind of single-handedly carrying the torch for this movie.
Well, first of all, you're welcome, everybody. I feel like I did have a big part in this. I am so excited for this. I already was going to go see it the one night it was coming out, February 15th, but now I can go again and again and trick Kristen into going with me. It's going to be the Battle of the Bears, though, because February we have Cocaine Bear and we have Pooh. So there's going to be Pooh Watch.
It's all bear action.
All bears all the time. I'm not into bears, but these bears I'm very excited for.
You set that up.
That was unintentional.
Yeah.
Rob, you hear about the 1,500 screens for over a week for Winnie the Pooh. What do you think?
Look, anyone that has the gumption to go out and make a low-budget film, much less what could be a meme movie. The way horror is going now, horror is hot. And God bless these filmmakers for grabbing an idea and implementing that idea, making it happen. I love the fact. I hope this movie, like you, John, makes $25 million. I hope they get paid. I hope the distributors can't help but pay them. God bless them. And I'll tell you something. I hope this movie's fun. You know, there was a movie that when I was a kid called Blood-Sucking Freaks that still disturbs me to this day. But I hope it's the Blood-Sucking Freaks for 2023. I really do. Because kids today need that kind of exploitation in their lives.
Christian, what do you think?
I mean, it's clearly not something that I want to ever see, but it's
You're not going to take your kids to go see this?
No, it's so funny you say that. My daughter was literally watching Winnie the Pooh yesterday, and I'm like, I'm watching, and thinking about it, going, I understand. Look, here's what Rob just said. Somebody with a warped sense of humor, and I think, what if we, as you said, grab a mask, shoot this movie, and not only did they do it, and they make a movie, it's getting a lot of notice. I mean, you're covering it on your show. You know, there's.
How good is?
I mean, that shot right there. I would see this movie based on that shot alone.
But it's getting. But the thing is that it's stuff like that it's getting people's attention, and so good for them for that. And the idea of them moving it into 1,500 theaters, maybe they're thinking that it's going to be something like a Rocky Horror Picture Show type thing, where they can have people and have this big event, and if it works, they do it again and they give it a shot. So the idea of everything behind it, I think, is pretty encouraging, especially in a day where it takes a lot to get a movie into the theater to get people to see it in general. That this is getting that kind of recognition. I want nothing to do with it. But it has nothing. But that's not me. This isn't for me. This is for people like you said. You would just sit down, have some fun, watch the carnage and the nonsense, and good for them, because it's a feat for what they did, for sure.
By the way, if they don't have Winnie the Pooh swing an axe at some college girl, and she dodges it and runs into the woods, if they don't have then Winnie the Pooh say, "Oh bother," it is a missed opportunity.
Right. Oh, I bet they will.
Oh, it'll be a missed opportunity. Aaron. I mean, the very first movie you ever brought little Tommy to was our the Batman screening.
Yeah.
Will this be the next?
Probably. He, as the mother of a 14-month-old child who has a Winnie the Pooh, Mr. Pooh Bear, and a Tigger, I am thrilled about this. I think it is fantastic. Tom was very upset. He said, "What about the children?" And I was like, stop clutching your pearls. The kids aren't watching this, but the parents are going to. the bigger question that I think our wonderful viewer was really wondering is, what does this mean for IP? This year, 2023, means that anything from 1927 is now in the public domain. And the purpose of the public domain, the reason why it was created, was really to preserve copyright for the purposes of encouraging more creativity
and innovation.
And innovation, so that an idea doesn't, a movie doesn't come out and then 10 years later someone just goes, yeah, I'm going to do the exact same thing. You have to go back and get the copyright laws and the copyright for it, etc. So the whole purpose of it was so that Hollywood didn't just keep making the same movies and books, etc. And so now that we are entering a period where at the time of talkies in the 1920s into the 1930s, the time of talkies really revolutionized the movie industry. And so we're going to see a lot more things that people are familiar with entering the public domain. So while this is just the very beginning, it's going to be really interesting as we move forward. Some of the things that I was just looking at the list, The Jazz Singer, which was the first feature-length film with synchronized dialogue, that gets into public domain. The Sun Also Rises, that's also entering the public domain. The movie Gangs of New York, if anybody ever thought about, that movie's just already been done. Kidding. No, but that also enters public domain. So I do think that the next 10 years especially are going to be very interesting for familiar titles that we now see entering public domain. But for anybody out there that's saying there's no original movies in Hollywood, man, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, go for it.
John, to speak to that, there's also a copyright rule that says if you've written an original screenplay, the rights to that screenplay revert back to the original author after 35 years.
Yes.
So we are seeing a lot of our franchise properties. Like, for instance, there was a legal case that was recently somewhat decided. I believe it's Victor Miller who wrote the original script for Friday the 13th.
Yeah, well, we talked about that on the show.
Yeah, and he got that, and other franchise properties, Predator, Die Hard. A lot of these franchise properties are now reverting back to their original authors. There is a lawyer in town who specializes in then soaking the studios. He goes back and says, like, hey, you want to make this, you got to pay. So it's an interesting idea that so once they make Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, what I want to know is that movie they've made is copywritten, because the underlying rights to the character aren't copywritten. But like you said, you can't go make a Winnie the Pooh movie and make it look like something Disney owns. But now by making this movie, you can't go make a Winnie the Pooh movie and make
we can't make a Winnie the Pooh slasher movie now.
Yeah, that looks like Blood and Honey. And it's very interesting to see how that IP is going to work as we move through time.
All right, guys, question is for you. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is going to get a wider release than some major Hollywood films. It's going to be on 1,500 screens, play for a week. By the way, which is more screens and in theaters longer than Glass Onion did. Hello, Netflix. Anyway, what do you guys think about this? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 3, shall we? Aaron, what is our third main topic today?
This comes to us from Jedi Jen. Love that name. Hey, John and crew. My dad and I love watching your show and hearing all you have to share. I just saw the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer during Monday Night Football. We are so excited for another season. Personally, I'm excited about the Babu Frick aliens. Did anything in this trailer get you all more excited about the show? Also, what do you think about showing these trailers during major sporting events? Does that impact sports viewership? And do you think this trend will continue? Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in, Jedi Jen. I'll go down to the second part of it. We've been talking about this a bit about, especially Disney has been taking the opportunity to drop some big trailers. And they've been doing this ever since the Star Wars sequels. Yeah. Big trailers during big football games. I remember the first time they did that, it was one of the Star Wars films. I can't remember which one it was. And I remember we were gathered in our AMC offices and we're sitting around and Schnepp was there. Yeah. I remember Schnepp saying, I think this is the first time in my life I've been sitting down in front of a football game. That said something, because it looked, how many people watched the college championship game just to see the Ant-Man trailer, and they stuck around that awful game. And because they didn't play it during halftime like they normally did, they saved it till the third quarter. Then they played it there, and then all of a sudden the viewership dropped. But here's the brilliant part of that move, though, is the opposite side of the coin, which is that it's not about bringing in more viewers to watch the game that normally wouldn't watch the game, although that's part of it. It's about getting this trailer in front of an audience that may otherwise not watch this trailer, in front of people who are not going to jump on YouTube to hunt around for an Ant-Man trailer. But now they hear their favorite sports broadcasters going, hey guys, stick around till halftime. We're going to be talking about this new movie. And then they drop this trailer. I mean, it works both ways, and it's really, really smart. Anyway, Christian, they dropped this trailer. What did you think about this Mandalorian season 3 trailer and the philosophy of dropping it during a sport event?
Well, to address that part, I agree with all your points, and I think that one of the things that I talked to my buddies at home in Queens, and I had this whole long conversation with my buddy James, and I started asking him about really popular. He goes to movies. He's into it. He asked me questions about like things that are coming out, and I asked him about a lot of popular titles, about things that were coming out, things that were like even the show The Bear, which was on Hulu.
Yeah, it was so good, by the way.
And in our space, a lot of people know he is like, oh, I don't know what that is, right? He's a casual guy, and I told him about it. I was like, oh, it sounds like something I'd be interested in, and the same goes for like. Not that he's not aware of the Mandalorian. You know that, like I know it's coming out March 1st because I'm looking at the news and everything too. And if you're really into this space, you know when it's coming out. He's like, oh, I was watching the football game and Mandalorian popped up. Is that coming back soon? Yeah, it's coming back on March 1st. Oh, cool. Now I know I can tell my kids about it. Right. So it is absolutely marketed to the casual fan because even though those people who are not going to be watching the game necessarily are going in to watch out, they're out. They're out after the trailer drops. So that's why they wait so long to do it. But it's the casual fan who's already watching the game, which I agree 100% are there, and now they're more aware of it. So it does both. As far as the trailer, I loved it. I mean, I loved it. I thought what they showed already to me. I've been raving as you were too about how great I think Andor is the best written Star Wars material, best written. Mandalorian's still my favorite. I mean, best written compared to Empire Strikes Back.
They're two very different kinds of Star Wars.
Way different, because Andor is one particular sect of Star Wars and really dives deep into that particular area. Mandalorian is everything Star Wars. I mean, it really is, especially that trailer alone. And there's certain things and images that you get that if you like lightsabers, you got it. If you like the Force, you got it. If you like Mandalorians and people jumping out of ships and space battles, you got it. It just looks like it's going to be bigger and better than the previous seasons. I love what they showed with Din, that he's got to go back to Mandalorian. Now he's got this other group. I hope they really start to give us a little bit about who those people are and give them character as well, too, because it was really only Favreau's character and the armor that we learned anything about. Let's learn some more about his new crew. I was bummed that we didn't see more Bo-Katan, but I guess that's because we got a lot of her in the first one, and I know it seems in that first trailer she's gonna have a lot to do. But and then I want to see that is it Order 66? Is it when Grogu gets back from the temple? We get to see Coruscant. There's a lot inside of this trailer that you still didn't get too much. They gave you just a little bit, but not too much.
Rob, what do you think about the trailer?
Dude, come on. I mean, when this trailer, I gotta say that when Grogu comes floating out using the Force powers to get rid of that dude,
great shot,
taking that dude out, I'm like, okay. And then I'm looking at this going, great. How much more money is Hot Toys going to take off of me? Right. Look at that guy on the left there. This is exactly what I wanted. We got Din flying 2 different ships. A Naboo starfighter and some other what looks like a Jedi, something we haven't maybe seen before.
But did we know that was him? I don't think that was him.
Somebody's got it. Whatever. It's a new ship. I'm like watching this going, that's all I want. I got, like you said, it's everything Star Wars. Andor was an examination of what is a rebellion and what is the Empire. It gave us a look in a different way than we've ever had before, which is awesome. But in terms of the sci-fi space fantasy adventure that you want from Star Wars, The Mandalorian is the only game in town. I mean, and it gives you everything you want. And I look at that trailer, I mean, like you said, there's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I'm there for it,
man.
It's
a droid bar. There were droids at a bar.
Yeah.
And you see little battle droids in the back. We haven't seen those battle droids in
now there's going to be the robot bartender is going to look at Mando walking in the bar. Is going to say, "We don't serve your kind."
I know they're going to go there. I mean, R5D4, dude. Come on.
Aaron, you had a chance to check out the trailer. What did you think about it?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And, again, going back to, the casual moviegoer, and while I don't speak for everybody, I am admittedly the person that was just like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of sand. I'm not really interested in getting into this Star Wars stuff. And I married, somebody who should probably be on the show instead of me because he loves all things Star Wars, and said, hey, this is really great. You should watch this with me. And I love this show. I am so excited to see the new season coming out. I agree with you, Rob, that moment when Grogu comes out of the cave. I mean, he is really owning himself. And weirdly enough, he stayed the same size, but we're seeing him grow in confidence, growing in his powers, his abilities. Tom said that was a TIE Interceptor, was those things. I was like, what are those guys flying around? Was he wrong, or is that
I didn't see a TIE Interceptor.
With the little curve?
I'll have to go back and watch
it. was going through the canyon. There's a canyon shot.
Okay. I didn't notice that. I'll have to go back and check.
But are they still remnants, or are we going to start seeing First Order?
I don't think we're going to get into First Order.
No, I think First Order is explored in the outer regions, and I think that's where it starts to go with the Thrawn and all that stuff. It's like they build, if they stick to the canon stuff in the books, First Order is still building out in the outer regions right now.
But I like that we're exploring a new world. It does kind of have a bit of almost a Matrixy feel. I love that there's a cantina there, or a bar, whatever we want to call it. I thought this was fantastic. And to the viewer's original question about, Jedi Jen's original question, A, I love that you're watching football with your dad. B, I love that you watch this show with your dad. I just feel like I just imagining you guys sitting together enjoying the show warms my heart. Also, I do think that the combination of these of the sports shows, these shows marketing in the sports world is a great asset to them, because if you look at these numbers, I mean, some of these Monday Night Football games are
some of the highest viewed watched things of the year.
I mean, the Hamlin, now granted, the Hamlin night was a specific circumstance, and that had, close to almost 30 million views that night. But they're averaging around 16 to 17 million. That's CSI numbers at its height. You don't really get those kind of numbers on any other show.
Well, to put that in perspective, Game of Thrones House of the Dragon debuted with 9 million. So you're talking about nearly doubling that for a Monday Night Football game.
Absolutely. I mean, at this point, it really, if I'm a marketing executive and I'm going, where am I going to get the most eyeballs on a pretty diverse audience? Football, Monday Night Football is a great way to go.
I didn't love the trailer.
I loved it and you didn't.
I didn't. Now remember, we're talking about a trailer. I cannot wait for Mando season 3. I think it's going to be awesome. I thought the previous trailer was great. I loved it. But you just had an image up there, Jonathan. I don't know if you can find it. We're with Mando and Grogu in the cockpit. But I just thought the last one, that shot, I think was used 4 or 5 times in the trailer. I think there was at least 4 shots of his. How many times in the trailer did we do a shot in a trailer of his Naboo starfighter just flying by the camera, and 3 seconds later, another shot of his starfighter flying by the camera.
That's really
and
fast.
15 seconds later, another shot of the starfighter, and going back again to that static shot of being in the interior of the thing. I love seeing a quick glimpse of the Armorer, because I like the Armorer. To me, is the new Boba Fett.
Yeah.
In the sense that you go back to the original Star Wars movies, there's this character that you didn't see a lot, but there was a lot of mystery surrounding him, and everybody just got the Armorer is that to me now. I want to see more of the Armorer. I cannot wait.
Speaking of the armor, yes, the armor needs to have boobs. If you've ever had a pair of boobs on your chest and you have metal pressed against them, it can't be flat. You need it to be rounded.
And that's why a lot of them do. So, again, I think the show's going to be incredible. I agree with you, Christian. I think it's going to be the best season so far. I've been dying for them to actually go to Mandalore. I want to see the conflict now escalate, because, we've gone from Wolf and Cub, the soul just trying to get this little baby Yoda to somebody else. But now they're expanding it, and now the stakes are higher and all that kind of stuff. Again, I would have liked to have seen more Bo-Katan in it, because I think Bo-Katan is probably going to be, other than Baby Yoda and Din, I think she's probably going to be the key central figure of the show. Again, I don't think it was a bad trailer. I just thought the first one was superior. a lot of reused footage, a lot of the same shot.
I think that they succeeded in what they needed to do, and that's again get the conversation going about it, get people hyped up about it. Because if you look at what Filoni has done in the past, John, he doesn't like to give, and Favreau too. They don't like to give too much away. So as long as they hyped you up in that first trailer and you're still excited about the show, they know they got you.
Yeah, I'm already there.
They know
I'm already on board.
So that I like the fact that they didn't go, because there's a thing in the Ant-Man trailer that happens that I'm hoping at the very I feel like it gave too much away. I'm hoping that it was a misdirect, but Marvel has been guilty of doing that. We talked about it famously with the Avengers and that first thing when Hulk saves Tony. You're like, well, I know that's coming. He's going to be fine. And Mandalorian and Filoni Favreau universe has been very good in their trailers of just giving you enough to get you, all right, I need it.
But by the way, something we haven't brought up, and maybe this is just the Canadian in me. It's good to see Paul, a.k.a. Mr. Kim, back in this. By the way, he's slimmed out. He looks like he's lost a good 40 pounds. He looks good. I hope he has a bigger role.
I think he's taken over the purpose of what Cara Dune was supposed to do.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Also, I just want to point out, John, for many people, this is the first time they've ever seen a trailer for The Mandalorian, because that's why they play it on the football games.
Yeah.
Because I go back and talk to my friends in Seattle. They don't know anything about what movies are coming out. They like movies and everything, but they don't follow them. So when they show up, they'll go see them. But like you said, most people don't know. I mean, we in this space, we think that everybody's steeped in this stuff, and the rest of the world really isn't. So when they show something like this, is probably a lot of people's first glimpse at The Mandalorian. All
right, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see the new Mandalorian trailer? If so, what did you think about it? Did it get you more hype? Did it build the hype? Does it, kind of deliver on the promise of it? I'm not going to lie. I didn't hate the trailer, but I thought the other one was better. But the show is coming. Super excited about it. March 1st. How are you guys feeling about it right now? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we are now going to open up the super chat. So therefore, if you have a comment, question, thought, or opinion you'd like us to address, go ahead and fire that in now, and we will get to reading and addressing those. But before we do, we're going to thank a couple more sponsors of our show here today. Our friends at Rocket Money, and of course, Mint Mobile. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Rocket Money. Do you know how much your subscriptions cost? Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions, when the actual total is closer to $200. If you don't know exactly how much you're spending every month, you need Rocket Money. When I started using Rocket Money, I couldn't believe how many things I was still paying for. Ann and I haven't lived in Burbank for almost 2 years, and I didn't realize I was still paying for a gym membership in Burbank for 2 years. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills, all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions that they've forgotten about, like that streaming service you bought to watch just one show on, or that free trial that you never even used, or like me, a gym membership in Burbank. Simply find the subscriptions you don't want and press cancel, and Rocket Money will cancel it for you. So stop throwing your money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Campea. That's rocketmoney.com/Campea. Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. If saving more and spending less is one of your top goals for 2023, why are you still paying insane amounts of money every month for your phone bill? Switching to Mint Mobile is the easiest way to save money this year. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton, with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. Guys, I have told you before that when I was on one of the major phone carriers, I was spending literally 3 times as much every month, and switching to Mint Mobile couldn't have been easier. So for people just looking to save some extra money this year, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily in just minutes with eSIM. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at Rocket Money, who, as I said in the ad, they have already saved me a ton of money. And of course, Mint Mobile for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, with that down, let's get on over and take your live questions here, shall we? Aaron, what do we got up first in the live questions?
All right. First of all, scrolling.
There you go.
First of all, thank you so much to Jimmy Rudolphson for sending in some support, as well as Simon Section. Thank you so much. Amin says, today we got Christian's Bespin moment. Bespin moment. Thank you. Great game. Keep it up, you guys, and congrats, Ray.
Yeah, that was definitely. I thought the same thing when I did it. I was like, oh, that was a Bespin moment.
I gotta say,
Bespin moment.
This goes back to the old AMC Collider days.
Okay.
It was Roca, right? Yeah. So for those who've followed us for a long time, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. I think Ray probably has. I don't think we're exaggerating. I think Ray has the highest win percentage of all of our games.
And I'm the worst player.
I think he does, and he has the highest win percentage.
No,
it's crazy. All right, what's next?
We literally apologize to who gets his name, and then they win.
Then he wins. Yeah. Yep. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, spoilers for Glass Onion, but did you notice how
stop. Let's move on.
Okay. From Josh Becker, who sends in a $5 super chat, says, Rob, I know you don't like the 09 Star Trek film, but can we agree that the Giacchino score is amazing? This man is always working. It's crazy.
I'm a huge fan, and you're right. I mean, enterprising young men, that piece of music, it's great. It's really good. I love the score.
I got to tell you what. I was, my playlist that I have, my music service is YouTube Music. So the playlist I have going, it throws in a lot of movie scores now and again. It was just yesterday I was driving in here, tick, 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 dun, 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 dun,
that's enterprising young men.
And I tell you what, I have, obviously nothing beats, in the world of Star Trek, nothing beats that original score, obviously, right? But I'm telling you, that music that G. Kino composed for that, is moving. Like
it's
love that.
Really good.
He's got such a rare thing that he can do. Like if you listen to the late great James Horner or even John Williams, you listen to enough of their stuff, you're like, oh well, maybe that's Hans Zimmer from the way that they do that. Giacchino does this thing. He's got so many different sounds that you just like, he did that. He did Planet of the Apes. He did Batman. He did the Batman. He did this. I mean,
it's
crazy.
What score he did that's really, really great and underrated? His score for Speed Racer.
Yeah, right. And
it's right. Really good.
You look at it would take you 6 months to finish his credits if you read them on IMDb.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
From JT Hiskey says, how do you feel about James Cameron saying that...
Oh.
Thank you. Saying that Loek will be the next narrator of the next Avatar film. This could mean a lot. Love this franchise.
Irrelevant. I don't really think it means anything. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember the names of the brothers. Was Loek the one that lived, or was he the one that died?
Oh, spoilers.
Oh, fuck's sakes. I got a fucking spoiler pig myself.
Somebody dies.
Shit.
Hey, man, $2 billion says enough people have seen it by now that it's okay.
I put a Band-Aid on.
We won't say then which one it is. It's... But just kidding.
Yeah, don't answer the question.
Just kidding.
I do really like that idea, spoiler pig? Is that why you have that?
Yeah, this is spoiler pig. I often call it Rob's spoiler pig, but apparently it's also mine. Okay.
He had a Jim Halpert moment where he's like, "Oh, and Pam's pregnant." Pam's pregnant?
Right. Pregnant? Oh my God, that was so funny. Yeah, but Rob has never seen The Office.
All right. That's so crazy. Really not that funny says, favorite Canadian film? I love 1 Week.
Canadian Bacon.
Look, this is a very, very stereotypical thing to say. I get it. But Strange Brew is one of the greatest comedies of all time. If you've not watched Strange Brew, you must. Some people, and listen, you may not get it. And if you don't get it, that movie's you're going to go, what the hell is this? But if you get it, you get it. And I love Strange Brew.
The Sweet Hereafter.
Oh, that movie's great.
What's your documentary called?
Movie Trailer for Love Story.
That's my favorite.
Greatest.
That's my favorite.
The greatest one of all.
What constitutes a Canadian film? Is it just
that's always a good question.
Filmed in Canada? Because if then
everything's a Canadian
every Hallmark
film and
movie
TV
ever.
show these days. I think it's probably who's the main production company behind it. I think that usually defines what it is. Like, is Avatar a Canadian film? James Cameron's Canadian. Is that?
Right.
But I think it's probably
hard,
Women
right.
Talking was filmed in Canada. Sarah Polley is Canadian.
Yeah, I would assume maybe they think it's something that takes place in Canada, about Canada. I don't know.
about
I
Canada.
think
Canadian
it's defined by the
filmmaker.
production
Yeah.
company. I think that's why.
Yeah, Canadian filmmaker and Canadian money.
Yeah. All right.
David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers.
What's next?
Jason Love says the second episode of
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us, thank you, is apparently 55 minutes. I'm really glad these are long episodes. I hardly felt the hour and 20-minute run of the first episode, so I am all for it.
Yeah, we talked about. So what they made the decision to merge the first 2 episodes into one long first episode, which is a
yes.
great decision, because honestly, like Andor might be the greatest show of 2022 to me. But here's the thing: if I had just seen the first episode, I don't know that I would have, and then it just stopped. I needed to see the first couple of episodes, so it was really smart of them. And I think streaming shows should do that. I love this pattern that a lot of them have of dropping the first 2 or sometimes 3 episodes at once, because it really does give you a feel for the show. Then you go back to the individual episodes. And again, Disney, take notes. This 36, 32, 29-minute episode bullshit, I mean, just make real episodes. If you're only going to have 6 episodes of something, make them real length episodes, for hell's sakes. All right, what's next?
From Matt Sanders, who sends in a $20 super
Thank
chat.
you,
Thank
Matt.
you so much, Matt. Hey, guys, now I enjoy movies that make you think. But the menu, I got it, but I didn't get it. I don't know if I'm dumb or if it's too intellectual. It was all right. Ha, thanks.
I tell you what, I absolutely loved it. Now let us bring up in advance the spoiler graphic. So I am going to talk about something here that's in the movie. And it's funny because my wife asked me the same question that Taylor asked me coming out of the movie theater. And it was one of my favorite moments of a movie the last couple of years. For those of you who have seen the movie, a lot of people wonder, what was the deal with the cheeseburger? Right? And to me, it absolutely blew my mind, because when you watch it, here's what the cheeseburger was. It was Ratatouille. It was the Ratatouille moment.
Yeah.
Because when she went in to the chef's private quarters and she saw all these accolades and all these headlines and all these pictures, if you pay attention, there's only one picture in which he's smiling and looks happy. And it was the picture of when he was young and working in a burger joint and making a burger. Every other one, he looked stoic and stern and whatever. And she recognized he looks happy there. And so she pulls what Ratatouille pulled on Ego in Ratatouille. He served him something that reminded him of the joy of food, that reminded him of, that took him back to his childhood and whatever. And when she told him, I want your cheeseburger, and when he's making the cheeseburger, you see they constantly go to his face. He looks like he's having fun. And that whole, and to me, I'm getting chills thinking about it. I think that was masterful storytelling. I loved that part of it. So again, that's just the one part. But again, all movies are subjective. It's not going to hit everybody the same way. And if the movie in general just didn't kind of hit for you, it doesn't mean that you didn't get it. It just might mean that it didn't work for you. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, what's next? Oh, and we take the spoilers alert down now.
Chris Miner says, I just rewatched Curb Your Enthusiasm for the 10th time. Wow. The older I get, the more I turn into Larry David. Is that good or bad?
Me too.
It's just
You know, the
true.
funny thing is, I've seen probably 6 or 7 episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And
a
I've
shame.
loved every single one, but I've never gotten into watching the show. I don't know why, because I love the episodes.
That's how I am with Seinfeld. Like every time, like people are like hardcore Seinfeld fans, right? And every time I've watched an episode of Seinfeld, I've loved it. I just wasn't like a hardcore person watching it every week and doing that. But I understand that for sure. And same goes with Curb Your Enthusiasm. Every time I've checked it out, laughing hysterically, but just never been, I gotta watch it today.
But that's also one of the great things about those shows is that they took something that usually is reserved for procedurals like CSI and, you know, Law and Order, and they incorporated it into the comedy world, where each episode really can be standalone.
Right. Yeah.
And there are through lines and there are characters that come back. So if you're familiar with the canon, then yes, you're going to love it even more. But you can watch each episode as a standalone. No matter what season it is, you can just go in, pick it up, watch it. And I love the fact that you laugh hysterically because it means that you're invested. They suck you in from the beginning.
All right, what's next?
Jay King sends in a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. It is pretty neat that both The Mandalorian and The Last of Us feature Pedro Pascal looking after a younger companion who at first is nothing more than cargo, and in the end, he grows to love.
Again, look, this is good. It's already, we're in January. This is already the year of Pedro Pascal. He's got like the best show on TV right now. He's got the most anticipated TV show coming in just a little while. It truly is, at least the first half of the year is going to be all his. All right, what's next?
Suthius sends in a $10 super chat. Thank you, Suthius. Miss Erin, that's me. Good seeing you more on the show. Thank you. You should just quit acting altogether and come in full time. No, thank you. But I would love to be here. I'm sure Mr. C can fill in the pay gap. That is true. He's rich. If not, Mr. C can start selling Mr. B's hot toys.
The hell he can.
Yes. Rob
I keep telling Rob,
to pay my salary.
Look, just bring your hot toys in here. We'll start selling them off when we need the finances to do the next big thing and we need to do. I mean, it's just, you put all that money into it, you might as well make something good happen out of it. Give it away. Philanthropy.
They make me happy. There are a few things.
Yeah, paying me is considered
hot toys
philanthropy now. Just want everybody to take note of that. What's next? But thank you, Suthius. It's very kind. Alex Mata sends in a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. I think that they should have the recap in Mando Season 3, Episode 1 be mostly comprised of his scenes in Boba Fett. Helps those understand where Mando is currently without having seen Fett.
All right, it's really interesting you bring up that question. Ann and I were out for our late evening walk last night, and she ditched on Boba Fett after 2 episodes. She just couldn't take it. And so we were walking last night. She's like, do I need to watch Boba Fett in order to watch Mandalorian Season 3? I'm like, no, well, I said, you know what? Just start watching from episode 6.
Something like that, 5 or 6.
Yeah, just watch those 2 episodes and then you'll be good to go for, well, you'll have to watch the finale too. But you don't have to watch the first 4 or 5 episodes again. Just watch from there and you should be okay.
Yeah.
But that's a great question. It's funny because I guess
there's going to be tons of people, like the casual fan we were talking about, watching that trailer last night going, wait a minute. How the hell did
There's
how's Grogu get back to there?
absolutely going to be a recap.
Yeah, there has to be.
Oh,
There has to be.
100%.
Yes, there will.
Because last time, if you just watch like Chris is pointing out, if you just watch Mandalorian, the last time we saw, we had this big emotional end where Luke comes and takes away the completing of the mission, which is kind of undone in 5 minutes in Book of Boba Fett.
That's a Disney note. That's definitely a Disney note.
Yeah, but look, you had to bring. I remember at the time when season 2 was ending, and we had a bunch of people writing in and asking, "Well, hey, they're not even going to have Baby Yoda in the 3rd season." I'm like, "Are you high? That little green gob prints money for this company." People, listen, there was a lot of people who weren't even watching Mandalorian. And then when Baby frickin' Yoda showed up, the internet lit up. And suddenly you have people who had never watched Star Wars tuning in to watch because of Baby Yoda. And I said, well, then people say, well, he's going to be talking by the. They ain't going to have him talk.
Ever.
They ain't going to have him talk.
I don't know about ever.
He's going to be Maggie Simpson. Baby Yoda is going to be Maggie Simpson.
This season or forever?
Well, at the very least this season. Obviously, we might get a teenage Yoda or Baby Yoda.
That's what I mean. Like
because
biggest heel turn in TV history. It's gonna be Grogu.
God, I would love it. All right, what's next?
Ron H says, I lost 175 Canadian dollars in a too good to be true deal today. At least I have the John Campea show and the community to soothe my stupidity. You are all worth a lot more than $175. So this and dank nugs equals happier me.
Now, of course, the good news is by losing 175 Canadian dollars, it means you've lost 16 American dollars. So you're doing okay. By the way, let's go to not yet. Let me see if I can get this. Okay, now let's go to my NDI. This is the future of Baby Yoda.
Heel turn.
I'd be there. I'd be so there. All right.
What are these panties he's wearing?
Panties? Oh, yeah, like a little loincloth on the robotic exoskeleton. Not sure what that was necessary for.
Shout out to our sponsor.
One of our sponsors, MeUndies. All right, what's next?
From Amin says, The Last of Us is a perfect example of why looks should not matter when it comes to casting for adaptations because Bella Ramsey is Ellie.
I will never understand, never, ever, ever understand why anybody puts any importance on, well, the actor looks like they do in the book or the comic or it's completely irrelevant. It doesn't make the movie any better. It doesn't make the movie any worse. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like if you're going to have a character that is supposed to be, 385 pounds and blah, then you don't run out and get a 150-pound actor. And look, I get all that. But generally speaking, it doesn't matter. Like the amount of people I heard write into me, but when they cast him, Pedro Pascal doesn't even look like Joel. Well, he is Joel. So however he looks, that's how Joel looks. So, I mean, I'll never understand that mentality.
Well, I appreciate it. I don't know if you guys watch the after show. I love those things. And I appreciate the fact that Merle Dandridge, who plays Marlene, is the same actress who played her in the video game originally.
Yeah, she said she aged into her too, which I really liked about.
And to hear her talk about being able to come back and play that role in the show, I love that. So I feel like that's also a wonderful nod to the actress who originated the characters in the game.
I thought she was doing a different character than she was in the game.
Same one. She talked about it in that after show that Aaron's talking about as well. She just said that, when she voiced her 10 years ago, whatever, she didn't look like her. She was, but
and now she does.
It doesn't always happen where the voiceover actor or transfers into. We just talked about Bo-Katan. Katie Sackhoff voiced Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
And is one of the few that came back to do a voice, right?
Yeah, because they did look with Ahsoka. Now we've got
Rosario Dawson
doing it.
Yeah. I mean, look, you mentioned too. I think sometimes it is relevant too. Like I remember when Jack Reacher was Tom Cruise, and when the character of Jack Reacher, if you look at the series, is a big kind of tall dude, and it's relevant to the story.
Series, he's more kind of accurate than
because it's relevant to the story. It's relevant to the character. Now, if there is something that you have the character of Ellie is they cast someone who's super tall or something and she's able to do things that the character wasn't able to do in the game, then it starts to affect it. But if it's just a certain look and it's the same,
starting with Pedro Pascal as Ellie, share.
right.
All right, what's next?
James Argenta says, Paul Sung-hyung Lee was in better shape since he is Uncle Iroh in Netflix Avatar Last Airbender.
That's right, because he looked, we were just commenting about how Paul, Mr. Kim, by the way, if you guys have not watched Kim's Convenience, you've got to watch Kim's Convenience. But he was looking good. So, but you know what? Yeah, he's Uncle Iroh. But you know what? The funny thing is, he didn't have to lose weight to play Uncle Iroh. I mean, depending on what the look, but he's looking great. He's looking really good. And I can't wait to see him in that Avatar adaptation. All right, what's next?
Luis Enrique de la Pena says, children's IP or public domain IP that you'd like to make with a horror twist.
Well, I mean, it would have to be public domain IP for you to be able to do it. I mean, we joked a lot about the Barney thing because remember Daniel Kaluuya said, "Yeah, we're going to make it something that what is it? Not defies expectations, subvert."
Yeah,
that we're going to make a Barney movie that subverts expectations. It's like, was Barney going to eat the kids? I mean, I don't know, but listen. They just did it for the Grinch, but they called it the Mean One, where Little Mary Lou was real, but only the Grinch is a murderous kind of creature. Apparently that sucked. I didn't watch it, but I don't know. I just like the notion of taking things that you're supposed to be love and treasure and flip it on its ear. I like that every once in a while.
What about, have you seen the trailer for the Judy Blume adaptation? Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret? Did
No,
you
I've
read
not.
that book? Well, it's coming out. How about Are You There, Satan? It's Me, Margaret. She's a Satan worshiping high school student. Flip the script.
All right.
Blood sacrifices and all that. If you know the book, you'll understand.
What's next?
Love that it keeps coming back.
Josh Becker says, did you see that China is going to allow Wakanda Forever and the new Ant-Man to release there?
I did not know about Wakanda Forever, but I did see that Ant-Man was going to be the first Marvel film in a number of years that's going to get a China release. I didn't get a chance to see who's reporting that, but if so, hey, kudos. Now remember, the first Black Panther and all of its big success, making 1.4 billion or 1.5 billion that it made. Remember, it's not like it was world-changing money it made in China. It made about $100 million in China, the first one. Which again, hey, that's $100 million.
You can already buy Wakanda Forever on every street corner in Beijing.
Yeah, so I don't
kiosk.
I remember people wrote into me when we were talking about the financial success of Wakanda Forever, but it didn't make $1 billion. Again, no film that doesn't have its original star or its original main character was going to make that much money. But it was still successful for what it was. But a lot of people say, well, remember, John, if it had played in China, it would have made $1 billion. No, it wouldn't have. Because it needed about $160, $170 million more. And the first movie only made $100 million there. But still, that's good news for them. How good? We'll find out. All right, what's next?
Marie Reich says, can't wait for a Mickey Mouse horror movie. Yay!
Yeah. Well, some people will say You know what? I'm going to refrain. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. So before I change my mind, let's move on. What's next?
Fally says, I had the privilege of seeing Rear Window and Casablanca this weekend.
On the big screen?
And it was on the big screen. Yes. Thank God for local indie theaters. Ain't that the truth?
I'll tell you what, guys. I love going back to the movie theater and watch older movies that I love. I still take advantage of every chance I get to go back and watch Princess Bride on the big screen. And Ann and I, every couple of years, will go back because there's a theater in LA that'll play the Indiana Jones trilogy every year. And people go and cosplay and stuff like that at it. I love that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Bunyan Snipe says, the armorer is Satine, right?
Ooh, I don't think so.
She's dead.
No.
You mean she's dead? Sabine.
We see her in the trailer.
No. Satine is dead. Satine died.
Not
in
the armor, Satine.
Satine died in the Clone Wars.
He's wondering if the armor is
I
Satine.
see.
Yeah,
Okay.
Satine died in the Clone Wars.
Did she? Yes.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. But she also didn't follow the same Mandalorian rules that they do, and that
people change. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
I don't think so. And then
I wouldn't put it past them.
If so, then what does that mean? Does that mean you McGregor? Oh, well, yeah, because you. I don't know.
Over under 50%, we're going to see the identity of the armorer.
I think you have a better shot of Grogu talking than you do that.
Okay.
I will go over 50%.
What? Why?
Not 90, not 80, but I'll go over 50 because it's a dramatic book. She's the one who makes it a big deal. So for them to have something, because remember, it was a huge dramatic point that there was something that was so important to Din that he was willing to take the helmet off. There's dramatic potential there for something to even the armorer motivates her to remove the helmet. Again, I'm not going to say 80%, but I'll take the over 50.
But how tragic of a story would that be for Obi-Wan if his lady was around? She decided not to ever tell him.
I'm not saying it's over 50%.
No, I know you're saying. I'm just saying. I'm
you're
saying
right.
also.
It would be pretty tragic. All right, what's next?
John Proctor says, just a quick hello, everyone. Love the show.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. It's always nice when somebody wants to write in just to be supportive. Appreciate that, man.
Alex Martinez says, hello, John. What do you think of the view numbers for The Last of Us being 4.7 billion?
It's out
million.
It's staggering. It's absolutely staggering. The biggest debut for anything on HBO in like 13 years. The fact that it is an IP that is not recognizable to a lot of casual fans. That means that HBO marketed it well. And they made the world look fantastic. It's incredible. And by the way, that's the lowest it's going to be. Because now everybody's going to get tired of hearing it, but everybody's going to hear about it. And it's going to follow the WandaVision thing. You're going to see every week those numbers are going to go higher and higher and higher.
And imagine if they would have dropped it all in one night.
What a waste.
What a waste. Because you have everybody talking about it now for the next couple of weeks, and and people could cover it week to week. Yeah, what a waste to drop a show in one day like that.
All right, what's next?
Aaron McDonough says, I think Scott Lang will die or Cassie will make a deal with the devil. And that's why he yells out, I'm sorry, Cassie, because she's paying for his repercussions.
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of speculation about we did an entire topic the other day about does Scott die? And there's a lot of compelling reasons to believe that he will. And there's a lot of compelling reasons to believe that he won't. How big are they grooming Cassie to be the next Ant-Man per se, which seems to be the whole process of Marvel right now, recycling out the old characters to bring in their new ones and whatever. I mean, I don't know. I'm still kind of on the fence about whether I still think they have an identity problem, I think, right now in the MCU in phase 4. Like the first 3 phases, they had a solid identity. You knew what you're getting with Marvel. You had the 2 main faces of the franchise in Tony Stark and Steve Rogers and all that kind of stuff. And since phase 4 started, they've had an identity problem with that. And I mean, Hulk is no longer the Hulk he used to be. Black Widow's not there anymore. Doctor Strange is there, but he was kind of late to the game in the first 3 phases. I don't know that they get rid of Paul Rudd yet. So I still don't know.
I think he dies. I think he dies about 20 times in the movie.
That's what Rob was saying the other day.
Yeah, I think he dies about 20 times and he survives by the end of it.
All right, what's next?
Murray Reich says, and here I was expecting this morning to see the annual Stephen A. Smith ripping the Cowboys again. Sigh.
Oh, listen, I told you guys on the show yesterday, they're like this year's Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they were not going to beat even a remotely good team.
You did say that.
Yeah, like when I told you, the Dallas Cowboys were going to roll over the Bucks, and they certainly did. They rolled over them. And now next week we get to sit back and watch their dreams get shattered and watch the Cowboys get destroyed. So I'll look forward to that.
Go Giants.
All right, what's next? Are they playing the Giants?
No, Giants are.
I was gonna say, I thought they were playing
Giants playing Philly.
Yeah, that which
I know. It's gonna
with
be tough.
Hurts back, it's a tall order.
Yeah.
Cutter Hale says.
The Giants are
Cutter
playing.
Hale says.
They look good.
Cutter
They look good
Hale
last week.
They
says.
look really good.
Cutter Hale writes in to say, stop talking about sports ball, guys. We're a movie show. Cutter Hale says, any interest in checking out the new Night Court tonight? I'm curious. I really hope it doesn't ruin the show. At least Dan Fielding is back.
Okay, number one, nothing that comes out later ruins what came out before. What's there before is always there. It's preserved. It is what it is. Doesn't matter how bad the Night Court is. I am curious to checking it out. I've been curious about this since they first announced it like 3 years ago. I mean, it's really sad that Harry's not there and all that kind of stuff.
But John Larroquette is.
You got John Larroquette there
Love
as
that.
one of the greatest characters in comedy television history. Dan Fielding. Yeah, I'm definitely curious. I don't know if it's going to be good or not. I really don't, but I am curious to check it out.
I loved this show back. Was it in the 80s?
Yeah.
80s and yeah, I think it got into the early 90s.
I loved the original show, and I actually saw the lead actress, the one from
Marky Post.
No, the new lead actress of the show.
Oh.
She what's the show?
The one who plays Harry's daughter?
Yes. Oh crap!
I have no idea who she
Everybody was
is.
making $1 million. It was a sitcom that was recently on the air. Jim Parsons won the Emmy for it.
The
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's in the Big Bang Theory.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the new lead actress. She was one of the actresses on the Big Bang Theory with the blonde hair, and she had that squeaky voice. She uses a completely different voice, and she says apparently people were really thrown off because she's not using her Big Bang Theory voice. So Big Bang viewers, you're going to have to deal with a different voice, but I think this is going to be a fun show to check out.
All right, what's next?
Stubba McShave says, I want Blood and Honey to be modern version of Peter Jackson's Bad Taste, Pooh style.
Be good.
I mean, look, as excited as we all are to see this car crash, let's not delude ourselves. This movie's not going to be good. I just hope it's fun. Just please make it fun. All right, what's next?
Dumbledore says, I rewatched The Last of Us HBO trailer. It just needs some Hurt by Johnny Cash to add to it.
Yeah, no.
It's been overused.
Yeah, it's been overused. But
Yeah.
I mean, that is I still think one of the greatest trailers I've ever seen was that Logan trailer that used that. But it was perfect for that. And if Logan hadn't used it, then yes, it would have been great for this one. But it would have
Trent
felt
Reznor. Use that version.
Yeah,
yeah.
Reznor version.
Like you mean
Nah, the Johnny
original.
Cash one. Didn't Trent Reznor? I remember Trent Reznor once saying, "Yeah,
that
it's Johnny
Trent
Cash's
Reznor
song
cover.
now."
Yeah.
It's just that's the one everybody thinks of. All right, what's next?
Al Renshaw says, I thought Andor was meh. Wow. So that Mando season 3 trailer was great. I love the Order 66 flashback and Grogu telling that guy to F off and get the hell out of my way.
That was my favorite shot in the trailer. Was Grogu going because you need to build on that because you saw him coming into that in Book of Boba Fett, right? So you got to follow up. You can't go back to square one now at that. So. Yeah, this is going to be turning into more of a partnership now moving forward. Even though
He's training him to be a Mandalorian. That's what's he made the choice to not be a Jedi and to be a Mandalorian. He's who knows if maybe the Mandalorian is not necessarily even about Din. Maybe it's about Grogu. Who the hell knows?
over under 18%. Luke makes an appearance in season 3.
Over.
Under because I think he's going to appear in Ahsoka.
Okay. Rob?
I'm going to go under 2. I think you're right.
All right. What's next?
I'm going to go under 2 in case anyone was wondering. Quality Not Included says if Winnie the Pooh is the Citizen Kane of bear movies, then Cocaine Bear is Pulp Fiction.
That's awesome.
LOL.
That's awesome.
Listen, again, let's be honest. I think that movie's going to be awful too.
Cocaine Bear?
Cocaine Bear.
But at least Cocaine Bear is based on a true story. That's what makes it.
Loosely based on a true story.
Still, a bear got high on cocaine and went nuts in the woods, and that actually happened in real life. Make whatever you want. I think that's a crazy story.
I think it's going to be really bad. but I would be bold-faced lying to you if I didn't tell you I was really excited to see it. I can't wait to watch it.
Well, that one scene where the bear is like, this is some tasty honey.
Oh my
Like,
God.
yeah,
That was, and then like now it's just coked out and it's doing anything to get its next hit. It's going to be awful, but I cannot wait to watch it. All right, what's next?
Brandon Nizamuddin. I'm so sorry, Brandon.
Nizamuddin.
Thank you. Says Marvel is coming back to China. Wakanda Forever and Quantumania are releasing in China in February.
Yes, but again, don't expect world-breaking numbers coming out. Again, Wakanda, the first Black Panther made $100 million there. Again, that's great, but it's not like it's going to double the box office for the film.
Quantumania might have a good shot to make a little bit more money, though, because what is also shown to be very effective in China is the use of 3D and the idea. Then they're releasing Quantumania in 3D, and they're also releasing in China. So you should see some extra, and because it's newer, a newer movie, you should see some box office returns on that for sure.
Oh, and you can't get that on every street corner in Beijing.
That's true.
It is true.
All right, what's next?
Black Rice sends in a $20 super chat.
Thank you, Black
so
Rice.
Much, Black Rice 19. Hey guys, not sure if you heard, but Black Panther 2 and Quantumania
No, we haven't.
have secured China releases, finally ending Marvel's 3-year ban in China. A good sign for Phase 5. Do you think that has anything to do with Bob Iger?
Okay, so there's a couple things to keep in mind here, because I saw this narrative going around a lot that Marvel was banned in China. You have to understand that for a number of years, what was it? Like the number was 18 or something like that. China has a mandated number, a maximum number of the number of Western films that they allow to play in China. It's, for the most part, it wasn't that Marvel was banned. It's that China was only letting a very small number of films into the Chinese market in the first place. And for this reason or that, Marvel wasn't one of them. So it's like, so we saw this narrative a lot over the last couple of years. Like when a movie was coming out, and like most movies, a movie would say Marvel or not. Like most movies would say this one's not getting a China release. Oh, then people would say that movie got banned in China. It's not that movie was banned in China. It's that there is a maximum quota for the number of films they'd allow in. The fact that we've now got a couple that are getting in. Listen, I don't call him Big Papa Iger for nothing. He's the ultimate deal maker. He is the ultimate deal maker.
He loves it when you call him Big Papa.
He loves when I call him Big Papa. Like, listen, he made, maybe can turn that shit show that is Disney around finally, because yeah, Disney is a shit show these days. Fuck Disney. Anyway.
Big fan?
Anybody, yeah, big fan of those fuckers over there. Anyway.
Demonetized.
Big Papa Iger is the man. And I have nothing to prove this, and it could very well not be true. I have little doubt that this very much has something to do with Bob Iger and his ability to make those deals.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, we'll see. All right, what's next?
100 Movie Marathon says, did y'all get any online single film tickets for Sundance? I can't wait for Jonathan Majors' Magazine Dreams and the new Daisy Ridley movie.
I have never been to Sundance. I've never really felt the urge to go to. I mean, there have been a couple of times, but even back in the AMC days, I would send other people to go cover Sundance. It's not really. Did you ever go?
I did. I went with Fandango. Right? I think it was 2016, and it was Tiffany Smith.
I was going to say you and Tiff went, right?
Yeah, and congratulations to her, by the way. She's had a really big role on Quantum Leap.
That's right.
So yeah, I have, and it was a lot of fun. I didn't really get to experience too much of the actual film stuff because I was doing like interviews the whole damn weekend. But the atmosphere is really electric there. I loved it.
I went years ago, like back in the aughts, to support a friend's film, and it's a really, if you have a chance to go, and it's not cost prohibitive for you, it is a really lovely film festival. Go check out.
I mean, it looks beautiful
it's
there.
Stunning.
It's
and
great.
you gotta know, not being facetious at all, winter is my favorite time of year, and I never get any damn snow here, so it's tempting. All right, what's next?
Simon Blakemore says, who's the better actor, The Rock or Dave Bautista?
Look, it depends on what's the movie. It really, like if I'm a producer and I have to choose between those two, it really depends on the type of movie. If I need somebody that can bring more charisma, energy, and own the screen more, I'm going Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. If I need somebody who can be a little bit more subtle, bring out a little bit more of the dramatic, Dave Bautista has evolved a lot as an actor, and I would go with that. But it really all depends on what you're looking for. So I don't know. Christian, what do you think?
We did a conversation this the other day on my show. We were talking about like between the three big wrestlers, Cena, Batista, and The Rock. And I had done a couple polls. I had picked The Rock because I thought it's like roles like he's done stuff like faster, but a lot of people said, well, he's always playing Dwayne Johnson, right? Dave Bautista won every single poll that I did. whether it was on Twitter or the community,
Yeah.
every single poll, because I think of what you just said. When it comes to like supporting roles and other things, he can really elevate a scene by popping in there. He's only led a few movies, so on his own.
And to be honest, I don't think he can lead a movie at this point.
Right. And
I just don't think
that's the question. He can elevate. I think he's got the best will to like do more than just The Rock wants to be an action star. The Rock wants to be a leading man. The Rock wants to be a superhero, that type of thing. Dave Bautista wants to be an actor. He wants to dig his teeth into media roles. So for that, that people saying that made me go, well, yeah, if you look at it that way, as far as a leading man goes, though, I think The Rock.
Yeah, he's a guy who can carry a movie.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Jake from State Farm, hi Jake, says, hey John, did you get a chance to finish the story of God of War Ragnarok?
Oh, yeah.
Those scenes between Kratos and
Arturus,
thank you, got me in the feels.
I loved it. I thought the story was a little deeper, especially when you get into the thing about the giants and all that kind of stuff. And the ending is great. I did not like the idea of, what's his name? David Schiff, the guy from West Wing. I think his name is
Richard Schiff.
Richard Schiff, thank you. Richard Schiff playing Odin at first was a little off-putting me. Having Ope play Thor, I loved that. At first, I'm like, Richard Schiff as Odin, I don't know. Totally won me over. I loved the Odin character that he played. I love the iteration of Thor, the way that much more to the original mythologies and stuff like that. But yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. All right, what's next?
CJ Reber says, like John, I wasn't entirely fond of Del Toro's Pinocchio. The war stuff didn't sit right with me, and I wanted the puppet to burn at one point. I preferred T-Red.
Turning Red.
Turning Red, yeah.
Listen, I stand by this. I don't care. And because I'm a big Guillermo del Toro fan, but I think Turning Red was the best animated film of the year. I really do. I really appreciate it. And listen, Del Toro's was easily the best Pinocchio movie of the year. So, you're talking about the Disney thing. But I liked Pinocchio. I did. I thought it was very bold, some of the stuff they did, but I also thought some of it was very, very flat.
Huh.
Like I could tell they were going for something. They were trying to introduce certain elements to it. To me, it was just flat in some places. Now, the first 10, 15 minutes of it reminded me a lot of Up. Like I mean,
Powerful,
it got
yeah.
me in the feels. I loved it. I loved the design, the animation style won me over, and I liked it. Pinocchio was good. I just didn't love it as you did.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's one of your favorite movies of the year.
It's in my top 10, and I think it was one of Del Toro's best in a while. And watching kind of, as Aaron was talking about with like the behind the scenes specials, they did one for that, and watching how much work it took and all the stuff they did with the stop animation and how much passion that Del Toro put into it. Yeah, it was my favorite animated movie of the year for sure. It really moved me. Did you see that one yet?
I did twice.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you something, that behind the scenes special,
Great, wasn't
it was great. And it went on for it was like 45 minutes. It was great. I mean, the artwork and the designs and the sets were incredible.
All right, we need to keep moving here because we're almost out of time and we got a bunch to get through. So let's pick up the pace a bit. What's next?
156 Impulse says, for Christian, that Top Gun guy?
It's an inside joke.
Oh, okay. All right, what's next?
Together in Silence says, Christian, glad to see you on the show. Loved your interview with Diego. Keep the
I
interviews
think we
up.
missed
You are-
one.
Never.
Oh, yeah. Tevin.
Excuse me. Tevin Como sends in a $10 super chat. Thank you, Tevin. I know you guys didn't really care for the Ant-Man trailer, but after the somewhat letdown of Phase 4, it gave me some of the old feels. My mom is excited after the trailer.
Listen, I like the trailer. I do. I just don't think it was going to be great with a lot of the casual movie going on. It looks like I think the casual moviegoer, it's going to look like a big CG fest, a little weird and strange and all that kind of stuff. But I liked it. And I didn't get any earlier phase feels from it, but there were enough. Listen, I love Paul Rudd's Ant-Man. That's the thing. And so that's the part for me that really won me over.
If you already love Ant-Man and you see the first trailer, then the second trailer I think is going to be even better. If you're not a huge Ant-Man fan or you didn't see the first Ant-Man and you didn't see the first trailer, it's going to be another CGI mess.
All right, what's next?
Together in Silence says, Christian, glad to see you on the show. Loved your interview with Diego. Keep the interviews up. You are going to be the Joe Rogan of movies.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was big getting, and not only Diego, but you also recently had
Got Andrea Riseborough on. Yeah, we've and Sholo Metaduena recently. So we're making a push this year on interviews. So thank you very much for saying that. Very kind.
All right, what's next?
KC Max says, I actually watched Parasite today for the first time. Wow. Very different movie. Really thought it was good, though. I don't know why I waited so long. Me neither.
I get it. It doesn't look good. It doesn't. Parasite doesn't look good. It is good. It's real good. I was shocked how much I enjoyed that movie and how much
really
I liked it. But to be fair, the way they marketed it, the trailers for it, it actually doesn't look all that appealing. So I totally get why you waited. But it is. I'm glad you watch it because it's a terrific film. All right, what's next?
KC Matt. Oh, no, we already read that. Orange Hand says, Rob, if Spock fights Stone in Amok time, who wins?
Spock, Stone's a bitch.
And now he's blocked you.
And now you are blocked again. All right, what's next?
Al Renshaw says, could William Jackson, Peter...
Wouldn't it be Harper or?
I thought it was hard. Yeah, so it should be an H on the end there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was wondering about. Could William Jackson Harper actually be playing Quasar?
Quasar
Kazar is a Marvel character.
Oh,
I don't think so. I don't think so. But maybe, I mean, it could. Amalgamation, maybe. Kazar was one of the first direct sale comics along with Micronauts and Moon Knight that Marvel had.
Huh?
Back in the early
but they
80s.
said in the article that he's not based on one comic book character. He's based on a combination of them.
It could be an amalgamation.
That's interesting.
All right, what's next?
Stubble McShave says the armor reminds me of the shaman in the Northman.
Yeah. That's by the way, Northman is in my top 10 films of the year. Oh god,
so good.
Kind of sad to see he's not getting any award season love. But I really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Tevin Como says, I think we'll see anyone from Loki series in
Ant-Man Quantumania?
Quantum Menace.
I don't think so.
Ant-Man Quantum Menace is that's public domain.
I don't think so.
I think it's possible. Because
it's certainly possible.
Have you gone back? I mean, I would put it on a higher level if you gave me the over under. Because did you go back and watch that scene with Jonathan Majors that in Loki recently?
Yeah.
Just watching that, going, they haven't tied anything together really, minus like, oh hey, by the way, this thing happened in WandaVision and Doctor Strange is like, wait, what? They haven't really tied anything together how that all played in. I think if the perfect opportunity to do that is in this movie because of him, but maybe at the very end, maybe not. Maybe in a post-credit scene where Loki shows up because they don't know Loki's alive. A lot of them. So it'd be interesting.
All right, what's next?
Eric Ortiz says, every time award season comes up, I always remember my favorite actor, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, it's funny. I did an interview with him, I think just a couple of weeks before he died. I was talking a movie he directed, Something's Boat. He directed anyway. He was so good. And it's so weird when you look back to his kind of his beginnings when he was first getting big in the bed. I mean, you go back to Boogie Nights. He was in Boogie Nights. I mean, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, son of a woman.
Was.
And then he went on to become once he hit Capote and then the world realized, I mean, this guy's a world-class talent. He was a villain in Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
I mean, who knows where he could have been
Bangs
today.
and Almost Famous. Jethro Tull. Amen.
All right, what's next?
So good.
Eric Ortiz, we just read that. Uncle Drew says, I just watched the preview of episode 2 for The Last of Us. I can't wait to see the development of Ellie and Joel. It seems we will get at least a few moments of important dialogue.
I mean, the show's already filled with important dialogue. I mean, that's one of the things we were talking about on the open spoiler discussion yesterday. The show don't tell philosophy is so apparent in this. Like, they were able to tell so much story. Again, just one example. We were talking about how another show would have wasted 7 minutes of an opening scene showing Joel and Tommy fighting in Iraq and fighting the war to establish that these guys have been soldiers, they're military. But instead of doing that, one passing camera shot of a bumper sticker, and we knew everything we needed to know. And when you go through that first episode, there is so much of that you realize they just told me a world of stuff with this one thing. It's really, really high level shit. It's really high level storytelling. And it's going to be interesting to see how that progresses as they move on. All right. Is that it?
That's all.
Guys,
Okay.
That'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here, making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those super chats. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so much for your support. Again, don't forget to come back a little bit later today for an open mic. We'll be doing that a little bit later this afternoon. Keep an eye on the channel for when that goes live. And of course, guys, as always, subscribe to the channel. Click the thumbs up button on this video. Simple thing to do, but helps the channel a lot. Make sure you leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on any or all the topics that we discussed here today. So for everybody in the room, we got Robert Meyer Burnett. I'm going to cut over there for a second over to Ray Ora, winner today, victorious Ray Ora.
Downtown?
Sitting back there, of course, Taylor Gonzalez running the show today, Jonathan Voico, and of course, our wonderful Aaron Cummings and Joey Bishop, who's now back in the office. And of course, our special guest in here today, Christian Harloff. Christian, where can people follow you?
As you mentioned, very nice before, my YouTube channel where we've had Diego Luna, a few other people. I just put a whole thing from an old stand-up bit from like 2007 at the Improv. I put up there and people watching it. So if you want to go by and check that out. But we're trying to get to 65,000 now by the end of the month. I always put a comment in the episodes I'm in and I say hello and appreciated John having me on. So come say hi and please subscribe to the channel.
All right, guys. And that'll do it for today's show. Thanks a lot for being here. My name's John Campea. And until next time, my friends.
Yes. Oh, man. Oh, no. Oh, my